Williams, Clevante Powell, Adonai Ali, Andre Peters, Treon Daniel, Demore Prentice, William Pittman, and Jathan Edward is the squad for the Leeward Islands that's playing today. Left out today is Rondre Daniel, Mikey Silogam, and Kylan Wood. So those are the three persons left out for the Leeward Islands. At the end of over number 2, scores progressed to 7 without loss. Let me just tell you, for the Trinidad and Tobago team, Caden, he said it was Kaiden Pollard. He is the captain today. His vice captain is Zion Phillip, Dylan Lee Chow, the wicket keeper, Elijah Ashton, Sanjeev Bachu, Jordan Julian, Giovanni McKnight, Joshua Joseph, Ethan Ramcharan, Samuel Stewart, and Jaden Sadafal. That's the squad left out today. Is Davis Guerra, Laurel Giuseppe, and Riley Gango. 3 persons we saw play when we last saw Trinidad and Tobago. So a couple of new players in terms of us seeing the Trinidad and Tobago today. Guerra, who we saw as the opening batter for Trinidad and Tobago, left out today. Davis Guerra, Laurel Giuseppe, we saw him as well when they played at Liberty, and Riley Gango. 3 players that we also saw in that team there. So today we'll get an opportunity to see a couple of new faces, at least us here in the commentary box. Outside the line of the off stump, and Powell just looking to play that one away. Oh, that's not Powell, that's Macau. But again, driving, if you can see, look at him driving away from his body, feet not moving to the delivery, and hence he didn't make any contact. Was just looking to try and get bat onto that one with some power. This delivery is played away into the offside field, and there is no run. 7 without loss. And let me also say thank you to the ground staff who listened to my voice. I mentioned to them that the tent was blocking the scoreboard, and they've adjusted it.
Yes, well done to the ground staff. But for young Kian Macau, he's going to have to learn quickly as to the...
He's driving and dropped that mid-off. He drove it straight to the fielder standing at that mid-off position in Elijah Ashton, and Ashton put him down. And you were just about to say that he's going to have to learn quickly.
Yes, as we see, just ballooning up to the mid-off fielder in Ashton, and just couldn't hold on, number 75. He's at a straight mid-off position, maybe for that exact reason, but the plan wasn't executed well, and Stewart has to continue on. But yes, for young Kian Macau, he's going to have to learn quickly about getting in line with the delivery and being able to negotiate the swing efficiently.
Here is he driving again, and short of that man at short extra cover who had come into that position there for that uppish drive, and the ball just falling away to his right, unable to get onto that one. There was Sanjeev Bachu, and 2 in a row that Macau could have found himself back in the pavilion, but he survives.
Yes, this time it's Powell, but they're going to have to learn quickly and try and find a way to score off of the young Samuel Stewart, who has bowled 2 overs already, 1 maiden for just 1 run.
So, just a run in that over. Macau is not out on 1 6s. Powell, total is on to 8.
Yes,
8 after 3 overs.
Yes, they're going to have to get the feet moving here, the 2 Leeward Islands opening batsmen. As you can see, Macau was a bit guilty of falling over when the ball is outside the line of the off stump. Some would say that he could maybe leave alone a few to start. And we see Macau facing up now to Sadafal, who's going to be angling the ball into him from over the wicket.
First delivery. Played away into the offside field, no run.
Yeah, just leaning back there. The young Macau may be looking to try and hit that a bit too hard. Doesn't get it through the gap between extra cover and cover. But he must be wary or aware not to fall into the trap. With two slips waiting down there, they're going to encourage him to drive.
And they're going to steal a run here as the ball goes to the left of the backward point fielder. Just tumbling down there and making the save was Ethan Ramcharan. And the batsmen were able to cross for a single.
Yes, very disciplined start so far by the two Trinidadian fast bowlers. Not giving much away, bowling more or less stump to stump or just outside the line of off stump. As we see Sadafal coming around the wicket to Cleavante Powell.
This one was angled into the right-handed Powell. He was trying to clip it into the onside field, no run. Always have to be concentrating, especially the bowlers when they're coming around the wicket, because the natural tendency. Powell is going to get a boundary, gets a full toss outside the off stump and puts it away past backward point for 4.
Yeah, just getting a bit too wide there. Overcooking it was Sadafal, just on the wide line, and Cleavante Powell sends the hands through it, beating the backward point fielder Ramcharan, and it rolls away for 4.
I would love to have seen him stay over the wicket to these batters, especially with them not moving their feet. I think him coming around the wicket now gives them a better line of sight in terms of what he's trying to do.
Yes, most definitely. But we see a change in field here. Number 60 runs over to the other side, Samuel Stewart. So bowling with no fine leg is young Sadafal. Powell tries to work it into the leg side and gets a leading edge.
We've seen this ploy from Trinidad before, where they bowl without that fine leg, just to give them that extra man on the offside. Full toss is driven past the extra cover fielder for 4. So another boundary to Powell, and Jaden Sadafal having a little bit of a struggle since he has come around the wicket.
Yeah, that was a lot more convincing from Cleavante Powell. Full toss, a bit closer to him, and for someone who doesn't have a lot of foot movement, it was in his range where he could just free the hands, find the middle of the bat and beat extra cover to his right for 4. The score moves on to 17 without loss after 4 overs. But I agree in your suggestion for the young Sadafal to continue over the wicket as opposed to coming around, and this way he has the option of either angling it across the batsman or bringing it back in
Or
and
even
attacking the stumps.
get it to shape back in.
Because that's his natural variation.
And then he also has the support of the breeze that is blowing from east to west here at the ARG. Samuel Stewart starts a new over, and Macau is going to get his first boundary. It was straight towards the leg side, and he just helped it over the deep backward square position and got 4.
Yeah, good shot by Macau. I'm sure he would have been aware of the field and placed it beautifully in the gap on the legs. Any good opening batsman can put away a ball on the legs, and he shows us why he's opening the batting for the Leeward Islands. Getting a bit too greedy there was Samuel Stewart, trying to look for the magic delivery, I'm assuming, hitting the top of off, swinging away from the batsman. But now we see a change in field. The square leg now goes in for the young Samuel Stewart.
Again, Macau is driving, but this time straight to that field at that mid-off position. No run.
But yes, I think this is a test for the Leeward Islands batsmen to be a bit more confident, to get onto the front foot, because it seems like they're playing a lot from the crease and using hands as opposed to transferring the weight.
He's tugging one out to the long on boundary, and he gets another 4. So Leeward Islands just enjoying a little bit of run scoring here. They get a little bit of an opportunity, and they've taken it. And surprisingly, there's no mid-on fielder.
Yeah, that was just I guess he's looking at the field and watching the field well, the young Macau.
Here is a loud appeal. Not out, says the umpire, as Macau was again looking to play one on the onside.
Yeah, this ball seems to be straightening. Bowling outswing. No, sliding down.
Almost looked as if it might have even just pitched on close to outside the leg stump as well. But he tends to be pushing the ball in a little bit, maybe allowing it to swing. Here's an opportunity for a run for the Leeward Islands. Just again, Powell just a little bit guilty of ball watching, just leaning on his bat as well, and the batsmen were only able to get a single. I feel with the way that Samuel Stewart bowls, that the man at extra cover needs to come to a mid-on, because he tends to be pushing that ball in towards the leg stump region.
Yeah, he looks to be bowling a lot straighter than we've seen him at Liberta. That's where we saw him bowling in Liberta, just
Correct.
on off stump, or just a little outside, and getting just a hint of a shape away from the batsman. But he seems to be a bit impatient this game, or maybe the fatigue of such a tournament. But
26 without loss, the Leeward Islands, which should suggest a fairly decent start for the Leeward Islands. They would want to continue and to try and see if they can get a good score and maybe put the Trinidad and Tobago team under some pressure. In other games, Barbados, they are 12 for 1 batting against the Windward Islands. Batting against Guyana. And that game is being played at the Coolidge Cricket Grounds. And we also see at the stadium, Jamaica on the 15th, playing Windwards on the 15th. Windward Islands batting, and they are 9 for 2. New over starts from Sadafal, and he's decided to remain around the wicket, where he really struggled in his last over.
well, I'm not sure if it's his decision or a team decision, but I guess the plan is to hang the ball outside the off stump and look for a drive.
The Windward Islands in further trouble as we speak. They are now 11 for 3. And I was just looking through the Windward Islands team to see if Jordan Charles was able to recover, but he's not listed in the team today. Javian Benjamin comes back in, listed as the wicketkeeper for today after Wickham didn't distinguish himself for the Windward Islands in that last game. So, games all around. So if you want to take in some cricket here, the final round, you have options, ARG, CCG up next to the airport, or you can go up to North Sound and take it in up at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. Sadafal continues around the wicket, 27 without loss, the Leeward Islands. And this delivery is whipped away into the mid-wicket region for 4. So he continues to struggle, having come around the wicket. This one again just banged in a little bit short, and the batsman Powell just whipping it off of his hip and into that mid-wicket boundary and picked up 4 more runs.
Yeah, I don't think this is the right call for the young Sadafal. He's predominantly a bowler who angles the ball into the right-hander. And coming around the wicket with no protection down there, no fine leg, is a tough task.
Here is he, catching Powell, bowl and caught.
And
one that just seemed to stop on Powell, and he turned the bat early. The leading edge found, simple catch back to Sadafal. Leeward Islands losing their first wicket. They're 31 for 1.
Yeah, clearly there's something that they know that we don't. Because as I've said, he's struggling. Now we would have agreed that he's struggling. He gets a wicket. Clevante Powell just looking to steer that into the leg side once again. The ball just holding its line, and he gets a leading edge. The Leeward Islands lose their first wicket.
And probably Powell just thinking that one might have come onto him as faster than it actually did. And so when he turned the bat, turned it early, and the leading edge found, and he goes back into the pavilion. So that's the end of Powell, the end of the Leeward Islands opening stance. It went for 31 runs, and if you just have a look again, we can see that just turning early, Powell probably just looking to see they play the same shot that he played the delivery before that they got a boundary. But that one just took the leading edge as his bat was turned pretty early and just lobbed the bat to Sadafal, who had the easiest of catches and couldn't drop that one. That would have been an unpardonable sin.
Most definitely. He already had the wicket in his hands. He looked very casual going towards it, already assuming a wicket. And if he were to drop that, I mean...
Caris Farrell gets a Yorker to start from Sadafal. Good first delivery to a new batter.
Yes, well bowled by Sadafal. Getting that angle and that shape from around the wicket. Coming down a bit late, but just in time, Caris Farrell. On balance, there was the young Caris Farrell just hitting that down to the mid-off fielder and stealing a quick run. After 6 overs, the Leeward Islands 32 for 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we are home for the summer and we're full of energy. From the 25th of June to the 28th of July, the West Indies will take on Australia in 3 tests and 5 T20 internationals across Grenada, St. Kitts, Jamaica and Barbados. The first test, set to be bowled off on the 25th of June, will be in Barbados, Bridgetown, Barbados, at the Kensington Oval. So get your tickets now at www.windiescricket.com.
Here is delivery. There's a loud appeal. Not out, says the umpire. Is that Stewart? Stewart starts a new over.
Yeah, must have just brushed the pad.
Trinidad and Tobago team heard something there. So that one went through to Lee Chow behind this stump. Dylan Lee Chow.
Yeah, he got quite a way across, did Caris Farrell. I think I was seeing a bit of leg stump there. If we can have a replay. Yeah, the young Farrell getting a ways across and just missing the leg stump by a coat of paint, some would say.
Just probably clipping the pad through to the wicket keeper. The Trinidad and Tobago team would have heard a sound, thought it was bat. They all went up, but umpire today not interested.
Yes, umpire O'Rain Ebanks not convinced on that occasion. A bit casual by Carice Farrell, fending off that one to the backward point fielder. And Samuel Stewart is back on that line and length, just outside the off stump. I think that's where he needs to remain and be a bit patient, a bit disciplined, and build some pressure on the young Farrell and force him to do something rash.
Farrell reaching for one outside the off stump, beaten. No run.
Yes, probing bowling there by Samuel Stewart. Again, working outside the off stump there. Just a little bit of swing, encouraging Carice Farrell to play at that delivery when he really didn't have to.
Here is he getting one that is inadvertently. There could be some trouble here for the Leeward Islands, but the direct hit is not made. There was just a little bit of a mix-up in the communication. The ball went into the extra cover region. And yes, no, they were going. And then when we thought that Macau had gone past the point of no return, the throw that came in didn't hit the stump, so he would have been a goner. The Leeward Islands batters would need to just have a little bit of a chat, and they've done so. Let's see if the communication improves.
Yeah, just a point of learning for the young Samuel Stewart. He should have gotten back to the stumps there. Enough time for him to do so, but maybe not aware enough.
A little nudge round past the square leg region. They're going to get one. Just holding up their hand to signal no. And just a single to end the over. 33 for 1 at the end of over number 7. Do you believe in the theory where they're saying that your best batsman comes at number 3?
Yes, I agree. Either number 3 or number 4, your best batsman is usually the batsman who can adapt quickly to any situation, given if the opening batsman get off to a flyer, he can come in and continue in the same vein, or if they lose a quick wicket, he can be able to rebuild and manage the innings from there. I do agree, and we not to say that the young Farrell is not a capable batsman, but he seems to be struggling a bit here, overbalancing a lot on the front foot.
Again, pushing at one outside line of the off stump. No run.
But yes, I do agree that your best batsman has to bat at number 3.
Could it be maybe just a lack of confidence at this stage for young Carice Farrell, having probably had a tough tournament? It's been in and have not been amongst the runs, have not gotten a lot of runs.
Yeah, I think he's just finding his way as a young batsman. Just trying to find his way. Maybe not the biggest in terms of stature, so he's trying to measure up against the likes of Jaquan Athanaze and Clavante Powell, who can hit the ball a bit harder than he can. But he still has a role to play, being the one to accumulate while everybody can bat around him. That could be one of the plans that the Leeward Islands may have for him, as to why they would have sent him in at number 3 today. But he seems to be overbalancing a bit, something that he may have to look at. Falling over.
He's retaken his guard, but he's still, I think, playing away from the body, not getting that left leg across to be in line with the delivery. So he's just pushing the bat at those deliveries while his feet stay stationary.
Yeah, he's having a few problems. I've noticed so far that when the ball is outside the off stump, he plays away from his body, and when it's on his legs, he's almost moving the feet and not actually getting into position to hit the ball well. So as we see with this ball down the leg side, that is called wide by the umpire Johan Williams. He seems to get his front foot across, locking the feet, and then falls over to the offside.
Which makes him a LBW candidate, they would say.
Most definitely. And I think Sadafal would have known that, seeing that he's attacking the stumps a lot more to the young Farrell.
Yeah, a couple of those deliveries, he's been trying to fire them into the pad region of Farrell. And again, we can see that one, even though Farrell kept it out, he almost ended up falling down in the offside field, sort of running away to keep his balance.
Well, yes, that's a good indication of how balanced the batsman could be, where he ends up after playing the shot. That's a bit better from him, a lot more balanced, looking to play the ball straighter. But so far, so good for the Leeward Islands. 34 for 1, coming to the end of the 8th over. They would take this power play, would they?
Yeah, they would, because being out for 77 in their last encounter, so they didn't score that many runs. And you would think that at 34 for 1. Here is Farrell edging and caught behind. And so, feet not moving, and Sadafal gets his man. You can see what he was trying to do. Entire over Sadafal gets one that just holds its own. Farrell pushed at it, edged it through to Dylan Lee Chow, and he walks back dejectedly to the pavilion. Leeward Islands losing their second wicket. They're now 34 for 2.
Yes, this is really good bowling, a solid plan, and even better execution by the young Sadafal. We see this one just straightening. Lovely delivery. Angled in, straightening, and leaving the young Farrell. His foot, he was playing the line of the delivery, which was just about off and middle stump. And the ball just leaving him, finding the outside edge, and Lee Chow cleans up. And the Leeward Islands lose their second wicket.
And somebody that maybe if you were thinking of somebody that would come early in the innings and hang around a bit and look to accumulate some runs, Demore Prentice, somebody that I would have probably pushed a little bit further up the order, because he looked okay in defense, and he's not somebody that's going to be bashing the ball all over. He tends to accumulate his runs, and so I would have probably pushed him a little further up the order. But we see the player in Williams, Aidan Williams, number 16, has come in as Samuel Stewart starts a new over.
Good shot there by Macau. Lovely balance, head over the ball, foot moving to the ball. But as we see here again from Sadafal, the wicket of Farrell, as you see coming around the wicket, and the angle is taking it to the middle stump, but it just straightens off the pitch, beats the outside edge or the middle of the bat, and collecting the outside edge of Farrell. Brilliant delivery and brilliant execution by Sadafal.
Definitely. When we were earlier, I saw you having a little talk with the Leeward Islands coach, Jake Taylor. What were you trying to find out from him?
Yeah, I was just having a conversation with him and a young leg spinner, Andre Peters. I was just kind of suggesting to focus more on your line and length rather than pace. And I've known him through schoolie cricket in Antigua and first class cricket, as he plays for the Bowlands community. And he seems to be bowling a lot quicker. His reasoning was that he didn't want anybody to get a hold of him. And I was encouraging him to let the batsman drive and let the turn and the pitch do the work for him. Just hit the ball, hit the right areas, bowl that 4 meter, 5 meter length to draw the batsman forward without getting too full as to for him to cover the spin and drive it. And Jakes was in agreement with my proposal towards Andre Peters, so hopefully we see some of that today.
We will see if your little coaching advice pays off. Samuel Stewart outside the line of the off stump. If you had won the toss this morning, if you were playing, what would you have done?
Well, I had a look at the pitch. I had a conversation with the groundsman, and I think I would have had a bat first. It seems a very flat pitch, very hard, very minimal grass, so not a lot of movement, or not, wouldn't be prolonged periods of movement from the bowlers. So I would have had a bat, and I would have batted myself to set a total.
Heard the Leeward Islands coach say they prefer to chase. End of another over. 34 for 2 is the total. I remember in the Pollard era of West Indies made it a habit of trying to chase down totals, and they were never interested in batting first. I, for one, I'm a proponent of, when I walked past the pitch this morning, the first thing I said, I'm going to have a bat. Because when you look at a pitch like that one, that is out there, devoid of grass, no major cracks on it. Saw it play well the other day. The ball was coming onto the bat. It's an opportunity for you to try and score some runs. So somebody like a Powell that's already back in the pavilion must be kicking himself, because this was an excellent pitch for him to really look to stick in and play some strokes later on.
Yeah, so far I've seen that it's a very good pitch. It allows the batsman to get value for their shots and allow them to play through the line. And it's a good even contest between bat and ball. There's something there for the bowlers as well. Not too much, but if you put the ball in the right areas, you'll be rewarded, as we've seen so far from Sadafal. But I guess the consensus is to chase. So we'll see if it works out for Trinidad today.
Yeah, they want to chase whatever it is that the Leeward Islands put on the board. 34 so far. The Leeward Islands in over number 10. Aidan Williams is at the crease. For the Leeward Islands.
Yes, solid defense here by Aidan Williams. First time seeing him in the tournament. Well, with my eyes, seems a good player. He's very strong in defense so far from the 2 balls I've seen him face.
Is this Aidan Williams from Antigua?
No, I'm not sure.
I'll check. He's pulling one for 4 down the square leg region, so he just strayed a little bit and he was able to pick up a boundary.
Yeah, onto that in the flash was the young Williams. Straying onto the leg side was Sadafal, and his eyes lit up. The young Williams beating square leg to his right, and 4 more to the Leeward Islands. They are now 38 for 2.
So Aidan Williams is of Nevis. So Nevision. Strongly built boy, and here they're going to get more runs. That one going past wicketkeeper Dylan Lee Chow, and it runs into the 3rd man boundary for 4 byes. So
yeah, just getting an awkward bounce there was Lee Chow off of the turf, not getting his body completely behind it, and it just sneaks through the legs. And 4 byes. And
the ARG outfield is lightning fast. So anything that gets past you, and especially coming down that hill, coming towards us, Ball tends to race away. There was somebody on that third man boundary, but he just couldn't get around.
Most definitely.
So Aiden Williams plays defensively to another delivery from Dylan Lee Chow. Right up to him, no run. Umpires are looking at each other. One umpire has 6, the other has 5. And correct? 6?
Yeah, that's over.
So that's the over. So end of the first power play. The Leeward Islands, they have progressed on to, is it 42?
Correct.
Correct? 42 for 2.
Yeah, I'd take that if I were the Leeward Islands coach. 42 for 2 out of the power play, trying to minimize risk while still maintaining a healthy scoring rate, just about 4 runs and over. And if they maintain this throughout the innings, I think there's no doubt that they can get to 200, as we see the projected score if they continue at 4.27 to be 213. Here we see Stewart continuing, bowling his 6th over, it looks like.
So this would be his final over based on the rules.
Yes, and then he'd have to take, I think it's an hour break.
Yeah, you'll have to take equal number of overs bowled from this end break. He gets a thick outside edge of the bat of Macau. It goes down to third man, and they just get a single.
Yeah, well bowled by Stewart. Bowling in the corridor of uncertainty and finding the outside edge. And for the viewers, if you're ever wondering what the corridor of uncertainty is, if you take a look just outside the off stump, you may see a small short marking, not the yellow wide lines, just a little marking there. It marks the danger area for the umpires, but it's a good indication of where the corridor of uncertainty is for bowlers to aim.
So lots of markings on the cricket field these days.
Yes, most definitely.
We see little markings,
circles.
we see little dots, we see little 90-degree angle markings. Umpires have a lot of assistance in terms of marks to help them to get the right decision. Aiden Williams is going to get some more runs. He flicks this one into the mid-wicket region. It runs pretty close to the boundary. It's picked up just inside of the boundary, and they're able to rush back for 2 runs.
Yeah, good shot. Patient is Williams. Very minimal risk there, just waiting for Samuel Stewart to slide onto the pads. But as you're mentioning, yes, a lot of markings. I don't recall having so many markings watching the likes of Viv Richards and Richie Richardson back in their time.
No, it was just the basic marking of
And
the
I think I would have seen the umpire leaning over, just over the stumps, trying to get a good decision.
especially with the LBW, because in those days you didn't have any review system or anything of that sort. It was pure man versus man.
Well, I had an interesting conversation with one of the spectators at the previous match. And they were telling me that in international cricket, we should revert back to just umpires as opposed to the DRS. Their reasoning being that it slows down the game, takes up a lot of time, and it forces players to not trust the umpire's decision.
Outside the line of the off stump, shaping away from Williams, and he just allows it to go by. It's a stifled appeal from Trinidad and Tobago, and there is no run. Ends over number 11. At the end of it, the total has moved on to 45, is it? 45 for 2.
Yeah, very good delivery to end this spell. The young Stewart, just outside the off stump, and squaring up the young Aiden Williams.
And some of the purists would agree with those fans that DRS takes away from the speed of the game, and a lot of the times, you know, Williams is trying to tuck one into the inside no road, and a lot of people feel, especially with the ball tracking, and it's completely computer generated. We know in normal cricket, balls don't hit the pitch and always go a certain height or whatever it is based on where it drops. And because ball tracking is more a computer generated situation rather than maybe there is something in the ball that it is following, like a tracker that it's following. It's more of if it drops here, and based on what we know by mathematics, it should go this way. It doesn't take into consideration that a ball, sometimes you get a bad bounce, one that bounces up, one that keeps low, those kind of things. The purists would think that sometimes it's just a little bit too mathematical. Bold! He left one alone, and that one came back from Cedarfall. And that was a terrific delivery. Aiden Williams was leaving it alone outside the line of the off stump. The ball cut back and crashed into the off stump. He walks back to the mark. And Leeward Islands, they've lost their third wicket. They're now 46 for 3. And that's a magnificent delivery here from Cedarfall.
Yeah, full credits, full marks to young Cedarfall. Every coach would tell their fast bowlers, aim for the top of off. And that's what he did there.
But just look at how that one cut back. Just look at, if we just look at it once more, you can see that one started, and you could understand. This is what we were just, it sort of justifies what we were just talking about, because based on how that ball or where it landed, you would think that Williams was within his right to leave it alone. Look, based on where it pitched outside the line of the off stump, just based on line alone. But look at how this ball drags back. Look, pitching outside, well outside the line of the off stump. You would think that, you know, all right, normally that one just comes straight through past the off stump, but that one dragged back a whole lot and was able to crash into the off stump. Williams, no doubt, would be disappointed, but that was a beautiful delivery there from Cedarfall. He gets what, his third wicket? This?
Correct.
And the Leeward Islands now in a little bit of a bother. They've lost 3 wickets, so they're now 46 for 3. And it looks as if it's Captain Jack Wanathanes who is going to come out to bat after this drinks break. Let's also tell you about the upcoming series.
We are home this summer. The West Indies take on Australia in 3 tests and 5 T20 internationals from the 25th of June to the 28th of July. The first test, starting the 25th of June, is set to be bowled off in Bridgetown, Barbados at the Kensington Oval. So if anybody is in Jamaica, Grenada, Barbados or St. Kitts around this time, you can get your tickets to West Indies versus Australia. www.windiescricket.com is where you can get your tickets and any information regarding the West Indies and this series.
Certainly should be an exciting series. Australia coming into town, and last time West Indies played against Australia in test, West Indies left Australia on a high, having beaten Australia in that test match.
Yes,
and
I would love to see this replay. I love to see good fast bowling. Aiming for the top of off. He got it right there.
Athenes is going to face his first delivery. He's just playing it quietly down onto the onside. No run. Athenes looks to play with a lot more time than many of the other Leeward Islands batters.
Yeah, he seems to be a busy batsman, always looking for the next run. And this is where intent is important as a batsman. Your intent being positive. Yes, you can defend, but you can defend positively, looking for a run if it presents itself, and that's what the young Athenes does well.
Steering one into the offside field, but goes straight to fielder at that short extra cover position.
Yes,
Joshua
but
Joseph, no run.
your observation about having a bit more time than the others is astute. Jaquan Athenes plays for the combined schools in Antigua and Barbuda's premier division of cricket, first class cricket in Antigua, where he opens the batting. So facing higher quality bowlers, I would say, or adults with a lot more pace, a lot more variations, is good practice for him to come to the under 15s and show his worth.
I would have loved to have seen him probably promoted, coming in at number 3 for the Leeward Islands with a message that, hey, we want you to go in today. We want you to just bat and bat long, bat as many of the 50 overs as possible.
Well, the last time he batted almost 50 overs, he scored 97.
So we know that if he gets in and he's able to be in, he can score. I would have just loved for them to just have a little bit more confidence in him and send him in a little early. But I can understand maybe the thinking of the Leeward Islands coaches that if he gets in early and doesn't get off, if he gets out, they don't have any stability really to come.
Well, I wouldn't say they don't have any stability, because we have the young Demore Prentice down the order who can stick, who can stay.
Maybe the wrong term that I'm used, but the run scoring ability.
Correct.
Of the batters to come.
Here we see young Bachu into the attack, number 7 from the commentary box end here at the Antigua Recreation Grounds. First ball, pitched lovely.
Yeah, and Macau doesn't look very confident against the spin. Not moving his feet, just trying in the bat, getting a little bit of a leading edge. The ball bubbled up into the air. For a moment, Bachu got excited. He's wanting that mid-wicket fielder to go on the boundary. Spinners don't love to give away runs off of their bowling.
Agreed.
They've sort of sent the man into what we call no man's land, in between. He's not out, he's not in. He's just halfway.
I think they would call that three-quarter.
Yeah, maybe three-quarter ways.
Mid-wicket. But now this is an important period of passage here for the Leeward Islands. Statistically speaking, they tend to score fast and score well against the fast bowlers, and tend to be tied down from the spinners. So it's important that they find a way to score by getting some singles.
And that man that we talked about on the three-quarter ways come into play as Macau gets a single. Got a short delivery and didn't put it away, I thought. Just got good bat onto it, but kept the man in play.
Yeah, the ball got big on him there. Maybe looking to hit it a tad too hard also. But for a leg spinner to have nobody on the cover sweeper boundary is pretty bold. All the fielders inside the circle on the offside for young Jaquan Athenes.
And Athenes is driving and missing. Ball seemingly hitting Dylan Lee Chow on the pads and just rolling back past the pitch. No run.
Yes, just sneaking on to the bat there.
I think early in his innings though, Jaquan Athenes is probably just a little bit nervous. But once he gets in, tends to stay in. And he's had the second highest total in this tournament. was the top scorer until we had that 100 from the Barbadian Clark.
Yes, a beautiful 100 that we got to witness here at the ARG from Killarney Clark.
And we seem to be the one that is, witnessing the big totals. The end of the over has come up. At the end of it, the Leeward Islands, they are 47 for 3. At the end of over number 13. So we're going to see the
120. Giovanni
McKnight. He's going to come into the bowling. And he is listed as a left arm fast bowler. LHF, it says on the sheet here. McKnight, his first delivery is edged into the gloves of the wicketkeeper by Macau. Again, driving without moving his feet. And the edge found, catch taken, smart catch taken by Dylan Lee Chow. And Leeward Islands losing their 4th wicket. They're now 47 for 4.
Yes, brilliant start by the left-handed McKnight. As we see Macau, a ball angling across him, feet not going anywhere, and it found the outside edge. And he has to go. The Leeward Islands 47 for 4.
It's 47 for 4, the Leeward Islands, and Demore Prentice has come out to join Athenes, and himself and Athenes put on that big partnership over in Liberta, and we'll be hoping that something similar, at least for the Leeward Islands' sake, that something similar would happen here today. But McKnight having a dream start, his very first delivery. And just look again, you see Macau not moving his feet, that ball away from the body, and he just steered it into the gloves of Dylan Lee Chow, who was more than happy to accept a straightforward catch.
Yeah, brilliant start by the young McKnight. Wouldn't really fault Macau.
Today not the hottest of days for these cricketers, and they would really appreciate that. First delivery to Prentice outside the line of the off stump, bouncing through. Probably just dying on its way into the gloves of Dylan Lee Chow. No run.
Yeah, seems to be a docile pitch. Not much bounce, not much carry, which is why Lee Chow had to come up a bit closer with the helmet on. But still, effective enough are the bowlers to prize a wicket.
Based on what we've heard, this is probably a typical Trinidad and Tobago pitch.
Really?
We'll ask our technician, because we're told that the pitches in Trinidad and Tobago are usually low and slow. And he says it depends on where you go. McKnight just trying to push one a little bit further across towards the off stump. Prentice was looking to follow it. In the end, ball going past the bat. Lee Chow not collecting cleanly, but effective in stopping the ball from going anywhere, so no run. One is steered away down to a third man region. And will he get a boundary? Yes, he does. So still no third man in place for McKnight. And Prentice there on the back foot, just being able to keep one out It peeled off the outer edge and ran down to a third man boundary for 4. And immediately we see Kaiden Pollard making the change, sending that man back to third man, and then
Yeah, some would call that an educated edge by the young Prentice.
Prentice is edging again. This time there is a protection down on the third man boundary, so you just get a single.
Yeah, 50 coming up with that boundary in the last over by Demore Prentice for the Leeward Islands, coming within 14 overs. Hit the Leeward Islands 52 for 4. So they're in a similar position to that of the one in Liberta when Jaquan Athene scored that 97. Demore Prentice joining him at the crease. Hopefully we can see a bit more intent, and hoping that Prentice would have learnt from his last hit with his captain to rotate the strike off the spinners. So we'll see how he fares today against Sanjeev Bachu.
Looked pretty solid against spin bowling. Here is this one going past the outer edge into the gloves of Lee Chow, no run. Didn't score freely, but his defense seemed pretty solid. And he's just looking to step forward and plays one back along the pitch to Bachu, no run.
Yes, no, we're not doubting his technique at all. He seems to have one of the better techniques in the Leeward Islands team. But he's just going to have to improve on his ability to score and to rotate the strike. As we see, 3 dot balls so far.
E2 Demore Prentice is from Nevis. He leaves a wide delivery outside the line of the off stump, no runs. We haven't seen much deviation away from what they've done, Leeward Islands camp, in terms of their batting for most of the series. Coaches have probably decided where certain players are going to bat, and they've stuck with it. Prentice is opening up and just dragging a short delivery into the offside field. Just going to get a single.
Yeah, getting away with one there was the young Bachu.
And I think that's what's going to happen, where you have a situation where the Leewards are probably in trouble. So even with those bad deliveries, because the batsmen at the crease are fairly new, they're not in, the eyes are not in as yet, and so those bad deliveries are not punished maybe like a batsman that would have been in and in form. 54 for 4, or is it 53?
54 for 4 it seems on our stream. Yes, 54 for 4 from 15 overs. But yes, interesting period of play for the Leeward Islands. Jaquan Athene is yet to get off the mark, facing 6 deliveries.
Called through is Demore Prentice for a quick single. He was a throw at the non-striker's end, but Prentice looks as if he's in safely. So just one more.
Yes, interestingly, no leg by signal by the umpire, so
Probably just got an inside edge onto that one. But Athens can't worry too much, having faced 6 deliveries and is yet to score. Because once he stays at the crease, opportunities will come for him to score, no doubt.
Yes, most definitely. The longer that you're at the crease, the more opportunities you have to score. And with 34 overs left after this, I would imagine that he's not going to be too rushed, the young Athens, as we see him letting this one go, watching the ball all the way into the keeper's gloves. But yeah, so far, McKnight has started well. He's been very disciplined in his attack. Not a conventional first slip we have here for Trinidad, a wider first slip. And what a delivery we see here from McKnight. Jaquan Athens has to go. Edging this one behind to the keeper, Lee Chow, who takes a catch low to the ground. A very good catch, washing the ball all the way into the gloves. And Leeward Island slipped further into trouble. 55 for 5.
Yeah, and Athens didn't score. Just with that open stance. And that one put across, and he was just playing away from his body. And you could see from his reaction, he knew that he was in trouble right away. And Lee Chow, moving to his right, took a smart catch low down. Athens was hoping against hope as he looked back at the umpire. But he's back in the pavilion without scoring. And the Leeward Islands in serious trouble now. They're 55 for 5. And the Trinidad and Tobago bowlers are paying dividends to their captain for that decision to bowl first.
Yes, seems to be a brilliant decision by the captain. We would have been suggesting that we bat first. But clearly, the Trinidad and Tobago team had another plan, and it's currently, as you say, paying dividends as we see Jathan Edward in at number 7 for the Leeward Islands. But yes, another delivery angling across by Giovanni McKnight, and the Leeward Islands batsmen so far having a bit of problems negotiating this left-arm bowler.
Delivery to the new batter,
Jathan Edward.
Jathan Edward outside the line of the off stump. Edward just allow it to go into the gloves of wicketkeeper Lee Chow. No run.
Yeah, this young man McKnight has all. Yeah, this young batsman McKnight having all the good ingredients to be a top-level fast bowler. Tall, very high arm action.
He bowls a heavy ball. He does bowl a heavy ball as well.
Yes, good mechanics so far. Everything moving towards the stumps. Very attacking. He's attacking the crease as well. Good rhythm. All the good ingredients to be a top-level fast bowler. After 16 overs, the Leeward Islands 55 for 5.
So the Leeward Islands will need to do a little bit of rebuilding at this stage and hope that Jathan Edward and the Maury Prentice can put together a partnership of sort for them, or it could be a very quick day for us here today. Delivery played quietly by Prentice into the offside field. One that was flighted in the air. Just able to play it defensively. Prentice is just trying to be a little bit more positive in his stroke play, driving one past that short infielder there at, you can almost say a short mid-off because he's pretty straight. This one is angled down the leg side, looking to flick it away or play it away, was Demore Prentice, no run.
Yeah, good bowling so far by Sanjeev Bachu, giving the ball a lot of flight, and he's ripping them big, the leg
He's
spinners.
spinning one past the outer edge there of Demore Prentice. That's a beautiful leg spin delivery.
Yeah, lovely bowling. I love to see it. A ripping leg spinning delivery, just pitching on about middle and off, forcing the batsman to cover and defend. A bit unlucky not to find the outside edge is Bachu.
One that is struck hard back to him. Good fielding as well by Sanjeev Bachu. So keeping the pressure on Prentice. Prentice is playing defensively to a flighted delivery to end another over. The score remains Leeward Islands 55 for 5. So Jack Wanathan is not getting off at all today, not able to score.
Yeah, just getting a good delivery from McKnight. Not much complaints or not much faults that in terms of the batsman.
I think he was just playing, probably playing away from his body a little bit. That ball coming down just in that corridor, as you call it, of uncertainty. And he was just a little bit guilty of pushing at it away from his body, not moving his feet. And the edge was found, and the rest is history.
Yes,
McKnight continues. Getting on top of it and steering it down to third man region. Jathan Edward gets his first run. The 56th run for the Leeward Islands.
Yeah,
How have you enjoyed the tournament so far? What's your thoughts on it?
Well, so far, if there's anything to go by, measuring the talent, seems to be a talented bunch. These on the 15 rising stars. I've been impressed so far by a few who have stood out to me. Kelani Clark and Jahidi Hines of Barbados being two. The young Guerra from Trinidad, Davis Guerra, who's not playing today. Jordan Charles from the Windward Islands, and Deshaun Joseph, two other players. So there seems to be a good bunch, and what is important for me is that I hope that they can follow up on this tournament with some of these players and maybe get them into a program that would see to their development.
Unfortunately for us, we didn't get the opportunity to see Guyana in any of their matches. They just seem to evade us or avoid us.
Yes,
But
it's unfortunate.
this is a good shot played through the offside for 4 by Jathan Edward. Pitched up to him, given a little room outside the off stump, and he was through with that drive and blasted it into that extra cover region for 4.
Yes, nothing tentative about Jathan Edward. That ball was in his half, a bit overpitched by McKnight, maybe looking for another outside edge. And Jathan Edward is up to the task, playing that through the covers lovely for 4.
You see in the Andy Roberts stand, in need of a little bit of tender love and care. Edwards is swinging at one outside the off stump, looking to probably hit the leather off of that one, missed it into the gloves of Dylan Lee Chow. No run.
Yeah, seems to be in a no-nonsense mood. Is Jathan Edward. He's decided that the best form of defense is attack, as he's maybe trying to take McKnight off of his line and length by being a bit more aggressive.
This time he plays conventional into the offside field to end over number 18. At the end of it, 61 for 5.
Here we see Sanjeev Bachu continuing from the commentary box end. A lovely delivery to start his 4th over. 3 overs so far for just as many runs. And has there been any outstanding players for you this tournament so far, Mr. Roberts?
Certainly Clark, in terms of the batting. This delivery struck away into the mid-wicket region for 4.
Yes,
I've seen some good players as well from the Jamaica team. You know, I love Ikani Robinson, just for his aggressive nature and the fact that he loves to run in and bowl well. I think Tesfa Ward, I think is the other name as well.
Yes, correct.
Looks good. And I also like Luane, the wicket keeper.
Luane Price.
Yeah.
Ooh,
this is a good delivery.
Word.
My goodness, he's bowling well, this youngster. I like the fact that he's really looking to bowl the leg spin deliveries, and he's just spinning it past the bat. Look at that one, pitching and turning. Ooh, yes, beautiful. I was saying I don't think that Luane Price has really batted to his true potential. But just from what I've seen, I believe that there's a lot more there than he has produced in this tournament.
Yes, most definitely. I saw him play a few dazzling shots down at Ball Beef Liberta that indicated to me that he may be one for the future.
Bachu is one that I like, especially with his leg spin bowling. And there are a couple of other players on the Trinidad team as well that can you can really have a look at.
Yes, and another leg spinner that I was impressed with was the Jamaican leg spinner Siobhan Boyd.
Boyd is one that has that ball on a string, we would say. Just likes to flight it a little bit. But the end of the over has come up. We've had 19 overs so far, 66 for 5. There are a couple of players in this Trinidad and Tobago team as well that I was saying that can come. I think Kaiden Pollard has an opportunity if he's worked on. I maybe think that he's a little bit too casual, especially in his batting. And he can't leave out Jacko Nathanez of the Leeward Islands. And Powell at the top of the order. I think Powell too has a lot more than he has produced.
Yeah, most
Here is
definitely.
this delivery that is driven hard on the bounce to Pollard at that extra cover region, no run. So there has been talent that has shown up here in this tournament.
Yes, most definitely. But what is now important, now that we've identified some talents, is to be able to harness and improve upon said talent.
I think what's going to be important at the end of this tournament is the folks who are going to deal with these players probably needs to have an analysis, an analytical view of the streams, in the sense that you look back at some of the bowlers, look back at some of the dismissals, look back at some of the batters, and identify he's going to get some runs here, just one down to final leg position, and identify some of the areas of strength and some of the areas of weakness, and try to strengthen those strong areas and tidy up on the weak areas, and be deliberate about it in terms of the whole development, so that the next time we see these players, whatever little faults we would have seen before, we don't see them coming back still having it, that a deliberate effort is made to fix it. Gets a no ball and he's swinging it in the air. The catch is taken, but it's a no ball and he didn't hear it. So he's tosses it up into the air, and the batsmen were able to rush back for 2 runs. So the fielder in the deep thought he had taken, had a dismissal. Yeah, he didn't hear the no ball called by the umpire. And so he threw the ball up in the air in celebration, and his teammates were all frantic.
Yes, that was so very unfortunate for Samuel Stewart. I don't fault him at all. Out on the deep square leg boundary, taking a good catch and celebrating a bit too soon, and the voices of the no ball did not get to him. But free hit for Jathan Edward as he steps
and drags
across.
it away into the mid-wicket boundary for 4. So he's looked aggressive since he has come in, Jathan Edwards. He's not coming there to hang around, to just hang around and get out. He's decided that he's going to have a counter-attacking type mood, and no doubt Edwards is pulling hard into the mid-wicket boundary. That's 4. He really dispatched that one from McKnight. It was a short delivery that stood up, and he was onto it in a flash and pulling that one hard into the mid-wicket boundary that feel that backward square only to retrieve. That's a good shot.
Yes, very commanding stroke from Jathan Edward. He was privy to the plan after falling for it off of the free hit, and he's already made up his mind. Anything short, he's going after it, and going after it hard.
Let's see how McKnight replies. And he replies with a delivery on the line of the outside the line of the off stump. Edwards was on the back foot, was thinking of really flashing hard and then just pulling out of the stroke at that last minute. We just look and see some of the Trinidad and Tobago fans coming in just a little bit late. They would have missed half of the Leeward Islands innings. Leeward Islands 79 for 5 at the end of over number 20, so they would have made more runs than they did in their last game. The Leeward Islands having been bowled out for 77 in their last game. Powell, he made 18, and Macau and Edward 15 so far for Edwards. And 3 wickets for Sadafal and 2 for McKnight. The wicket takers for Trinidad and Tobago so far after the first 20 overs. And the Murray Prentice, he's also out there. He's listed as being on 14, but I'm certain that they've given probably 1 or 2 of Jathan Edwards his runs.
Maybe so. Oh, not sure.
I am certain that Edwards would have scored much more than 15.
Here we see Bachu continuing.
Delivery played away quietly by Prentice, no run.
It's really surprising just how well Sanjeev Bachu is bowling. He seems to have a lot of control over his leg spin, being able to land the ball exactly where he wants it.
This time he's over pitching and hitting it hard. Back past him is the Murray Prentice into the long on boundary for 4.
Yes, big improvement by Prentice. This is what I like to see. A bit more intent. Not trying to overhit the ball, but capitalizing on bad balls. A bit too full there by Sanjeev Bachu. And Prentice dispatches it with mid-on and mid-off up. Hitting it straight back past the bowler, and he moves on to 18 off of 27. Much improved from the last time that we've seen him.
Yeah, a lot more positive in terms of his stroke play. Here is he striking him on the pad. Loud appeal. And he's giving him leg before.
Yes, just as we were singing his praises as to his improvement, he gets wraps on the pad by Sanjeev.
He looks disappointed, maybe because of where he ended up. But maybe what Jayton Edward is telling him now, you got hit in front of the stumps. He looks disappointed. Let's have a look at it. This one. Pitching in line.
Yeah, no.
Turning,
Yeah.
hitting him in front of the middle stump area.
I think he may be more disappointed at his shot selection or the fact that the ball may have kept just a bit low as opposed to
if you can
the
just look and
decision.
see now that he's dragging his foot outside of that leg stump, probably to indicate to the umpire that he thought that's where he got hit, but he got hit in front of middle stump. That's a good decision by the umpire. Plum leg B4, and that's the end of Prentice. 83 for 6. Trey and Daniel comes in to bat, and the Leeward Islands, they're losing wickets at very regular intervals.
Yes, the scoring is healthy. And as we would have seen from the last game as well, they started well. They were scoring at around 4 to 5 to 6 runs and over.
But he just kept
But
losing
they kept
wickets.
losing wickets. But yeah, once again, by Demore Prentice, I don't think that he was in any way disappointed in the decision, rather disappointed in his shot selection, because that was dead as a doorknob, as we would say in the Caribbean.
That was plum, if there was any. Batu continues. First delivery to the left-handed Trey and Daniel. It's left outside the line of the off stump. One was shaping back in towards the left-hander. So Daniel will have to watch that very carefully because Batu is bowling well. Daniel covers up and plays defensively to a leg spinning delivery. So just no run. 83 for 6. Say good morning to some friends of mine down there in Trinidad. Folks, you know Rod Finn Harris. They call him Rudy in Trinidad. Say hello to him for me. Here is a delivery that is keeping low and striking him on the pad. And he's giving him leg before. So Trey and Daniel doesn't last. It's now 83 for 7. And Batu gets his second wicket of the over.
Yes, lovely bowling by Treyon Daniel.
By Sanjeev Batu.
By Sanjeev Batu to
Yes.
Treyon Daniel. Leg spinning delivery yet again, just pitching on or around the off stump. Playing back was Treyon Daniel, the ball keeping just a bit low. Just a bit, not too much.
When we look again, pitching
yeah,
in line.
I think he should be coming forward to that.
Yeah, missing the bat. Striking him on the back pad in front of the stumps with not a lot of doubt. Should have been there for the umpire, that one again. Once you miss that in front of the stumps, standing on your back foot, the umpire is definitely going to send you. And I'm sure when Trey and Daniel comes back and have a look at the stream, he too will agree with the umpire. That one I don't think needed any DRS or ball tracking. That one looked pretty adjacent. So Leeward Islands losing the 7th wicket, 83 for 7. Also want to say hello to match referee over there in Trinidad. What's his name? Raghunath. Michael Raghunath, my good friend. And Michael would be upset. Then how you forget my name? Michael Raghunath. We work together in football. That's the man. Good guy is Michael Raghunath. And some of the others that I've worked with in Trinidad, of course, Kevin Lewis and others. And I think Kevin Lewis's band this year, One Day Panorama, after being the banging post for some years, they've been able to come out on top. This delivery stayed away into the offside field, no run. And Trinidad and Tobago this year would have added the steel pan into their coat of arms.
Really? Wow.
Yes, they did. And I think that's a
lovely,
good move.
yeah, very,
It's the right move for me.
because it's deeply ingrained in their culture down
I'm
there.
telling you.
It's Trinidad. I've always wanted to travel there to witness their panorama, because I've been playing panorama, and I would have been a big supporter of the Trinidad All Stars from since I was about maybe 10.
This delivery is struck away over mid-off by Jathan Edward, and he's going to get a boundary. So
Now that is a serious shot of authority by Jathan Edward, off of a length just outside the off stump, and he stands tall, sends the hands through the delivery, and hits it over mid-off for 4. Lovely shot by Jathan Edward. He's been in a groove this morning.
not just in a groove, but he's been in a no-nonsense mood and is really muscling a lot of these deliveries. And based on the way that the Leeward Islands innings has gone, I can't blame him. Try and score as many runs as he can and play to his strengths. Faces up now, McKnight is in, and he's steering one away into the offside field, but straight to the fielder at that point position in Joshua Joseph. No run. Been to Trinidad a couple of times. It's a very nice place.
Yes, I've been meaning to head down there.
You must travel the Caribbean.
I really must. It's on the bucket
Trust
list.
me, the Caribbean is a beautiful place. One of my better experiences was in Tobago. They took me out in a boat out into the middle of the ocean and telling me to step off.
Well, I've heard a song, an old calypso song about Tobagonian girls, so that might be the next destination.
They too
Tobago.
are very attractive, I'm told.
Have yet to see one. But the food, the people, the culture, also vibrant and exciting. I've been meaning to travel there.
Yeah, and what was interesting that when we stepped off out into the middle of the ocean, the water was at our ankles. It was almost we stepped out. Yes, we stepped out onto a. It was a strange kind of situation. That
Like
you
a sandbanking?
Yeah, you stepped out in the middle of the ocean, but you're on a sandbank.
Wow.
That was a different kind of experience for me. I'm telling you, it was wonderful. I never had an experience like that. Yeah, that was a wonderful experience over there in Tobago, and I've had some good experiences as well in Trinidad. So you must travel the Caribbean, and I thank football. Football has given me a lot of opportunity to travel across the Caribbean. The only place that I've not been yet is Guyana. But Guyana, I'm coming.
Well, no, that's one of the few places that I've been to. Very nice country.
This delivery is played away quietly as our good friend Sanjeev Bachu starts his 6th over.
Yes.
2 for 12 runs so far. 2 wickets, 12 runs.
I'm still on the fence as to whose curry is better, because I would have gone to Guyana, but I would have gotten a traditional doubles from Trinidad when my mom went down there. Still on the fence as to whose curry is better, but that remains to...
Outside the line of the off stump, of course, our technician will tell you any day that Trinidad has the better curry. Our guy and his friends are now typing away to tell me, don't listen to him.
I'll not involve myself in such a conversation, because all of them are tasty, in my opinion. But nonetheless, this is brilliant bowling so far by Sanjeev Bachu. Almost 6 overs for just about 12 runs. Wrapping yet another batsman on the pads, William Pittman. Yet to get off the mark here. But yes, the Caribbean truly is a unique place, offering so many different cultures and perspectives. And for anyone wanting to visit, you're always welcome. After 23 overs, the Leeward Islands 87 for 7. This has been a disciplined bowling effort so far by the Trinidad bowlers. Leading the way so far is Jaden Sadafal with figures of 3 for 28, being backed up by Sanjeev Bachu and Giovanni McKnight with 2 wickets apiece.
So no doubt,
we see McKnight continuing from the old pavilion end to Jathan Edward, who's batting at a runner ball 19. Lovely delivery, a heavy length outside the line of the off stump. Played off the back foot into the extra cover region and no run for Jathan Edward. Very disciplined indeed. Only bowling with 3 on the leg side. Fine leg, square leg inside the circle and a mid wicket. No mid on for the young McKnight. And here we see this one, Jathan Edward going after it. Up in the air to the extra cover fielder and it's taken.
Yes, good
by
catch.
number 75. It looks like Elijah Ashton. Looking to force the issue there was Jathan Edward, looking to repeat a dose from the previous over off of McKnight, trying to go up and over the mid-off position. But just taking the outside half of the bat, skying it. And number 75, Ashton, comes around and takes it comfortably. The Leeward Islands slip further into trouble, 87 for 8.
Yeah, good catch there, that by the Trinidad and Tobago fielder in Joshua Joseph. And Jathan Edwards dying by the sword, as we would say. This is just exactly how he has been playing all innings. Again, just looking to be a little bit on the aggressive side. That one not as full as the one that he hit over the infield, and this time skying it up into the air, and a smart catch taken. Leeward Islands, who's in the 8th wicket, 87 for 8.
Yes, very disciplined indeed from the young Giovanni McKnight. I must commend him for sticking with the plan. He was under a bit of pressure, going for a few 4s off of Jathan Edward, but he stayed resolute and it paid off for him in the end, collecting his 3rd wicket in his spell. And in at number 10 for the Leeward Islands. On the 15s, number 8, I'm assuming. Yes, no, number 5, Andre Peters, the son of Leeward Islands, a former Leeward Islands cricketer, Orlando Baby Peters, as he's commonly known in Antigua. But it's safe to say that the Trinidad and Tobago team are firmly in the driver's seat at the Antigua Recreation Grounds.
Yeah, this is what they would have wanted after they inserted the Leeward Islands this morning. They would have wanted to come in and have a good bowl, and they have not panicked with the scoring rate of the Leeward Islands. Leeward Islands have been going at a decent rate of scoring. There's just dropped slightly, but they were well over 4 runs per over at one stage, almost 5 runs per over at early start of the innings. But the Leeward Islands, they've been losing wickets at regular intervals. And that, I think, is the important thing for the Trinidad and Tobago bowlers. They've been able to get wickets, even though one or two of them have gone for some runs. In Giovanni McKnight here, he's gone for 29 off of his 5.2 overs, but he's all importantly gotten those 3 wickets. And I think for the Leeward Islands today, with the captain not scoring, they were always going to be up against it, because he has been one of their chief scorers. McKnight is in, edge found, but falling short of the slips, as Andre Peters negotiates his first delivery again. The feet not moving, just squaring up on that occasion, and looking back very nervously was Peters of the Leeward Islands. He survives as that one just died on its way through to the field like that slip field in Zion Phillip.
Yeah, the umpire is just going to have a word. I'm not sure what the reason may be.
You see Captain Pollard as well, just joining in, and the umpires just having a word with him. Maybe just not pleased with something.
Yes, I believe that the condition of the ball was the issue.
Here we see Pollard just indicating to the fellas, keep the ball up, keep the ball up. Maybe the umpire just thinking that maybe the players are just throwing the ball to the ground a little bit. And Peters is forward and playing as players resumed after that short little discussion with Kaiden Pollard. We've been saying Caden, but he told us this morning it is Kaiden Pollard. Number 55, he wears in the field on his shirt. This is McKnight. And again, Peters just shaping in line and steering it into the offside field, no run. So, Trinidad and Tobago, they literally have Andre Peters surrounded. There's a slip. There is point, cover, extra cover, mid-off, short mid-on, man at backward square. And the 2 men out seems to be down at third man and fine leg. Here we watch. This delivery is played away into the offside field again. And there is no run. So
Mr. Roberts, as you would have traveled quite a bit around the Caribbean, and would you happen to have witnessed the Trinidad Carnival at any point in time in person?
No. Trinidad Carnival is at a time of year when I am deep in work.
I understand.
And
no field trips for that one?
It will be a difficult field trip. I tell you what, one time a group of us teachers, we actually went on a field trip, you could call it, to Trinidad, but we went on at Independence time. It was right after youth rally. We got on the plane.
And
It's delivery outside the line of the off stump.
Just for educational purposes, you know.
That was a long time ago. I was at JT Ambrose School. We jumped on the plane and we went down to Trinidad. And I remember we went into Jimmy Aboud's shop. And we went downstairs. And we came back with the new uniform that you see JT Ambrose School is wearing now.
I see.
So we
JT Ambrose in All Saints.
In All Saints. They had a check uniform and we were changing to plaid. We took down our idea. Here is a ball in him. Flighted delivery and playing across it and missing it is William Pittman. And the Leeward Islands losing their 9th wicket. And Bachu getting his 3rd wicket, and he continues to bowl well. Sanjeev Bachu. Leeward Islands falling away now. They're 87 for 9. And just to complete the story, we took the sample. We told him what we wanted, and he said to us, "Don't worry, I will make you the plaid that you want." And what you see JT Ambusco wearing now is the result of the good work of Jimmy Aboud. I remember that very well. We went on a field trip and we stayed at Cascadia Hotel. Yeah.
So props to Jimmy Aboud and props to Sanjeev Bachu collecting his
Bachu
third wicket.
is bowling well. And what I like about Bachu, though, is the fact that he is not afraid to, one, flight the delivery, and two, he trusts his spin. So he's allowing the ball to spin. He's given the ball every opportunity to turn, and he's found a pitch here that he can get the ball to turn, and he has bowled well. He's not been bothered. I think he was struck away for 1-4 by Prentice, I remember. But other than that, he's been pretty straight, pretty solid, and very good bowling.
Yeah, he's been
by
on
him
the money
so far.
Yeah, he's been on the money for the majority of the day, and he's been beating the batsman in the flight, which is what which is what stands out for me. He's beating a lot of the batsmen in the flight, and some of them are unsure whether to come forward or to come back, and that's just because in flighting the delivery, you're getting the ball above the eye line of the batsman, so it forces their head to move, and in their head moving just ever so slightly, it may take their eyes off the ball, and that is what you would want as
Here
a
is
leg spinner.
Bachu, and the wicketkeeper Lee Chow is excited, but that one just spun past the bat of the Leeward Islands batter there.
Yeah, Dylan Leachow just thought that there was a slight edge there, and that's a lovely take by Leachow.
He's been good behind the stumps. Dylan Lee Chow,
Yes,
one of the
really
better
has.
keepers we've seen in the tournament, and he seems to be a genuine wicketkeeper batter, as we know them these days. We've seen maybe one or two keepers who have, we can almost say it's maybe a fill-in position, but definitely for Trinidad and Tobago, Dylan Lee Chow has been that man behind the stumps that have supported the bowlers, and no doubt he's looking to end on a high here. As we see, it looks as if we're going to have a bowling change from the northern end, the Sir Vivian Richards Players Pavilion end.
Yes, number 1, Ethan Ramcharan into the attack.
So Ramcharan, Ethan Ramcharan, he is listed as a right-hand leg spin. He was also listed as a wicket keeper, but they've moved that now, and he's doing the role of right-hand leg spin. Here is he in. Faster delivery than we've seen from Bachu, and Andre Peters is going to get runs here. He's running pretty close to the boundary, and they come back. It actually gets into the boundary, and like we were saying earlier, once it gets down that hill, it's always going to be a struggle for those giving chase, because it's a lightning fast outfield here at Antigua Recreation Grounds. And 4 more runs to the Leeward Islands.
Yeah, most
They will take
definitely.
that. 91 for 9.
Yeah, just starting a bit too straight, Ethan Ramcharan, and bowling with no 45 or any short fine like Andre Peters. Just has to get a bit of bat on it, and it goes for 4.
Again, delivery that is angled into the right-handed Andre Peters, turns it into the square leg region. No run. Down the leg side from Ethan Ramcharan, called wide by the umpire.
Yeah, just starting a bit too straight, Ethan Ramcharan.
I think he's kind of rushing his deliveries too. It's bowling for me a touch fast. Gets one that shapes outside the line of the off stump.
Yeah, that one was slowed up by him. Maybe just finding the radar now.
Ramcharam is taking an easy catch as Andre Peters just came forward and drove one straight back to him. The easiest of catches, and that has brought to an end the Leeward Islands innings. Andre Peters, Cotton Bowl, Ethan Ramcharam, and the Leeward Islands all out for 92, with Peters going for 4, and the Trinidad and Tobago team wrapping up the Leeward Islands innings. They did not allow those tailenders to probably frustrate them and drag things on a little bit too long. 93 will be the total that Trinidad and Tobago need, and the Leewards were all out in 25.2 overs. You would say after a promising start, another disappointing batting performance by the Leeward Islands?
Yeah, just leaving a lot to be desired. The Leeward Islands batsmen. A promising start, 31 or 32 run partnership, opening partnership between Kian Macau and Clevante Powell. They really started positively, being able to score and score quickly. Clevante Powell collecting 4 fours in his score of 18. But then there was a period where they just slowed down with Carice Farrell and Aidan Williams. And the captain, Jaquan Athanaze, coming in at 5 today, not being able to get off the mark, is where the trouble started for the Leeward Islands at 55 for 5. There was a rebuilding job done by Demore Prentice and Jathan Edwards, scoring 18 and 19 respectively. 3 fours for Demore Prentice and 4 fours for Jathan Edward. But when Demore Prentice fell at 83 for 6, that is where the landslide began, and it was just a procession after that. So 92 all out for the Leeward Islands. Wicket shade all around between the Trinidad and Tobago bowlers.
Let me just give the scorecard for those who keep these statistics. Kian Macau was caught wicketkeeper Lee Chow off McKnight for 15. Clevante Powell was caught on bowl Sadafal for 18. Carice Farrell was caught wicketkeeper Lee Chow off Sadafal for 2. Aidan Williams was bowled Sadafal for 6. Jaquan Athanaze was caught Lee Chow off McKnight without scoring. Demore Prentice was LBW Battery for 18. Jathan Edward was caught Ashton off McKnight for 19. Trehan Daniel was LBW Battery without scoring. William Pittman was bowled by Battery without scoring. Andre Peters caught on bowl Ramcharam for 4. And Adonai Ali was left not out or not. 10 extras, 4 byes, 5 wides, and a no ball. And for the Trinidad and Tobago team, the Samuel Stewart 6 overs, 2 maidens, 14 runs, no wicket. Jaden Sadafal 6 overs, no maidens, 28 runs, 3 wickets. Sanjeev Batu 7 overs, 3 maidens, 12 runs, 3 wickets. Giovanni McKnight 6 overs, 1 maiden, 29 runs, 3 wickets. And Ethan Ramcharam 4 deliveries, 5 runs, 1 wicket. So Trinidad and Tobago will need 93 for victory when we resume in about 7 minutes or so. Until then, we'll just take a short break. And so we're back here at the Antigua Recreation Grounds. Not a sunlit day, one of those days when the clouds are overhead. It's a little bit overcast. And the forecast by the weatherman is for rain, but rain in the evening. They're saying there's a 70% chance later on that we could see some rain, but we haven't had the benefit of the sunshine. So it's a cool morning here, but certainly the Trinidad and Tobago bowlers weren't cool this morning. They were on fire. They rushed out the Leeward Islands for 92 runs, and they're going to need 93 for victory. As we see the umpires are signaling to the scorers. Stay ready to start. Trinidad and Tobago openers are already out in the crease, and it looks as if it's going to be Kaiden Pollard is one of the openers today, and he seems to be out there
with number 35, it looks like Dylan Lee Chow.
We'll
confirm.
But here is the first delivery. Looks as if it's the number 135, which is Jordan Julian.
So maybe looking to get in and out early.
I think they're going to be looking at the scoring rate, because I think that the possibility still exists mathematically. They could win the tournament by a better scoring rate than Barbados if Barbados lose to Guyana. So it has permutations. So I think that the Trinidad and Tobago team today, they've sent out Pollard probably to look to have an opportunity for some quick runs. So Julian is in, facing from William Pittman, third delivery, yet to score. So
yeah, just feeling out William Pittman, just seeing a few balls from him to see what he's doing. But so far doesn't look to be troubled is the young Jordan Julian.
He's pulling one over the square leg region for 6 runs. So short from Pittman and pivoting and really hammering it over the backward square region. Jordan Julian picks up a maximum.
Yeah, just waiting on that short delivery from William Pittman, and he just helps it on his way for 6 runs. Minimal fuss from Jordan Julian.
So you can see clearly the intent here from Trinidad and Tobago. Barbados, they are currently 135 for 5 after 30 overs, playing against Guyana at Coolidge. And we can tell you that in that match, up there, Seth Smith is not out on 30. Yuvraj Prasad is there with him, not out not after 11 deliveries. Barbados on the 15, 136 for 5. This delivery kept low, and looking to force it away was Jordan Julian, no run. So the Trinidad and Tobago team will be, no doubt, looking to polish things off here, finish the job here, and then watch and see what happens in that game between Barbados and Guyana. For the Barbados innings so far, Hines made 1, Sargent 11, Paris 38, Killarney Clark getting 17 today, Passeram 21, And Seth Smith is there, not out on 30. The wicket keeper, and Yuvraj Prasad is with him, not out on 1. They are currently 137 for 5, the Barbados team.
Yeah, very interesting finish to the tournament. That's what it's shaping up to be.
And Windward Islands, they made 86 in their match against Jamaica. 86 all out of 26 overs. And Jamaica in over number 2, they're 12 without loss. So you're up to date here at ARG. 6 without loss, Trinidad and Tobago going into their second over. And Pollard coming forward to deliver angled into him, a stifled appeal from the Leeward Islands. Not out, says the umpire, leg by given. He has to be very careful, Kaiden Pollard.
Well, as you would have mentioned just at the before the break, that Pollard just seems to be a bit languid, a bit switched off. But
yeah, you don't tend to find any. He doesn't look urgent. I'm not saying that he isn't urgent, but it does not appear so from his body language. His body language is way too cool, way too casual in his approach. Outside the line of the off stump from Trey and Daniel, pushing at it is opener Jordan Julian. No run.
yeah, very good delivery by Treon Daniel. Just encouraging the batsman to drive or to push at it with that length just outside the off stump. But not finding the edge is Treon Daniel.
So Trinidad and Tobago would have worked out all the mathematics probably in their head between the captain and coaches and management and the statisticians and everybody, what they need to do. And at the end of this tournament played today, I think tonight at 7 p.m. up at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, there should be a closing ceremony and distribution of prizes and awards. So they'll find out probably who's the tournament MVP and other things that goes along with these tournaments. Trey and Daniel is driven beautifully through the offside by Julian for 4. That was exquisite.
Ooh,
just coming forward and easing that one past that extra cover fielder. And once it got past him, it's always going to be to retrieve because the outfield is lightning fast. Beautiful stroke by Jordan Julian.
Yeah, pleasing to the eye. Very, very easy on the eye is Jordan Julian. Minimal fuss, over pitched by Treon Daniel outside the line of the off stump. And just ease past extra cover for 4.
If you're ever teaching somebody how to play an extra cover drive, you'd want to look back on that stream there just now from Jordan Julian. This time he's hitting it a little bit harder, but I think it's Caris Farrell in that short extra cover region. Does the feeling, and there is no run.
Yeah, just got a bit of information there. The young Caris Farrell, nicknamed Bolo. I'm not sure why, but his mother, I'm sure, would be in attendance here today, out of Nevis. Shout out to you, Miss Martin.
Always good when you see the parents coming to support. A culture that we probably need to learn a lot better here in the Leeward Islands, at least lately. Not seeing as many Leeward Islanders traveling to support as we do some of the other countries. The Pollard faces up now, as it's going to be Pittman to continue. and he's driving pleasantly to the offside field, but straight to that fielder at cover, who is just about on the 30-yard circle, no run. And the other day when we had the discussion about field placements and tighter and so on, and folks were, somebody was saying to me it's at the under 15 level, they're not allowed to come too tight for safety reasons. Pollard gets on top of a short of a length delivery, plays it quietly, no run. And so they're saying that not seeing them come in too tight is for safety reasons, because it's on the 15 and you don't want them to be in too close to get hurt. And the person was suggesting to me, just look at what happened with Jordan Charles at the slip region.
I understand the safety concern. Seems logical enough.
But you know that I have to argue a little bit with them, because my take is that when we argued about 50 overs, you said let them learn because they're big enough.
I agree. So,
and then you tell me that they're not big enough to come a little closer. So,
well, my personal
Pollard is driving off the inner portion of the bat into his pads, into the offside field, no run.
Well, in the incident with Jordan Charles, I just see that as unfortunate, but I don't think that there should be any revisions to the rules. Because
no. It was just an unfortunate situation that he got hit. It's for his coaches as well to look back at the whole situation, just to say to him, when you're in that slip position, you can't have your hands on your thighs and not ready.
You have to be ready.
Always be ready in that situation and always alert.
Yes, and slips is one of those positions that you don't have any time to relax. You always have to be on. As we see,
another beautiful stroke by Pollard this time, but he's unable to pierce the infield. Is that Farrell again? Looks as if it's not Farrell, the Leeward Islands player in that position, just saving some runs. Just a single, though, to Pollard. 13 without loss. We went over number 3. And Julian is going to get runs here. Gets it out to that long on region, and it beats the fielder into the boundary now, and it's 4 runs. So again, pushing it down the ground, didn't try to overhit it. But once it got past that field at that mid-on region, he turned to chase, was chasing all the way, but the ball really racing over the outfield.
Yeah, seems to have a good bat, the young Jordan Julian.
Yes.
Just a full toss by William Pittman and just eased down the ground with minimal effort by Jordan Julian and gets 4. Score moves on to 17.
17 without loss at the end of over number 3.
Yes, as we see Treyon Daniels continuing from the commentary box end. But yes, overcast conditions here at the Antigua Recreation Grounds. Very cool conditions here. Not a lot of sun. A very strong breeze coming across the ARG as well. So I'm sure the Leeward Islands would be happy not having to field in the hot sun.
There hasn't been too much of sunlight today in terms of the visible sun. Pollard is pulling. This one is in the air. And it's dropped. Pollard there on that occasion just pulling into the air, and he sort of just turned around, and probably umpires are wondering if he probably would have obstructed the field, but I think he was within his right to stay in his position where he was, and the wicketkeeper got up to the ball and didn't hold on to the catch, and Pollard survives. But if we have a look again, we would recognize that I think that he was within his right. Pollard.
Yeah, just a bit of unfortunate positioning by where the ball chose to land.
So he
he
swung
had to stay in his crease.
and he stayed, and he probably his motion just kept him. He spun around, but he didn't really move into the way of the wicket keeper. And here is he driving past mid-on for 4. So he's had enough now, Kaiden Pollard, and he's recognizing that he almost lost his wicket, and he's decided that he's going to just be a little bit more positive in his stroke play and push that one. Even though he left the bat in the air, it was away from the mid-on fielder and into the boundary for 4.
Yeah, that shot very reminiscent of his father, Kieran Pollard. Just hitting it straight, standing tall, and dispatching it for 4.
Swinging and missing at one outside the line of the off stump, one that kept low from Trey and Daniel. Who is wicket keeping for Leeward? Is it Powell?
Yeah, Clevante Powell.
Yeah, Clevante Powell with the number 4 on his back. Thought he might have done a little better though with that catch.
Well, whatever the case, I think Kaiden Pollard is on now.
Here is he cutting for 4.
Yes, he might have been riled up by the Leeward Islands team. Maybe a few words being exchanged after that catch, and I think he would have said, okay, I'm going to show you all that I can score.
Especially when they would have just asked the umpire that question about his positioning on that catch. But I think that he was within his right to stand his ground. He didn't seem to move to obstruct the field, and the ball was coming down close to where he's located, and maybe a little bit of good gamesmanship too, just recognizing and just standing his ground and making it difficult for wicketkeeper Powell to take the catch. Powell eventually put the catch down, and he's been able to score some runs thereafter. 25 without loss at the end of over number 4.
Yeah, scoring freely is the Trinidad and Tobago team right now. Above 6 runs and over their scoring rate. And if the Leeward Islands have any chance of winning this game, they're going to have to get some wickets, and some quick wickets here. Here we see William Pittman continuing from the old pavilion end.
Short of a length delivery, played away into the offside field, no run.
Yeah, just looking to force that delivery off the back foot there is Jordan Julian. A bit too close for comfort, and the ball just got big on him. But William Pittman seems to be a young prospect, a fair bit of pace, good strong action, hitting the pitch hard.
Definitely somebody to work with. Here is he wide outside the line of the off stump. Julian flashes. They say when you flash hard. Edge found, flew over the top of the slips and down to third man for 4.
Yeah, most definitely. When you're going, you go hard, and that is exactly what Jordan Julian did there, beating the third man fielder who chases in vain. Jordan Julian seems to be scoring quite quickly. 18 off of 14 deliveries, above a run a ball.
Remember they're chasing 93. They want to get to 93 for victory. Julian is driving pleasantly out to the mid-off fielder. Good fielding from Jack Wanathanes, the captain of the Leeward Islands.
Yeah, just
Julian looks really good when he's driving.
yes, he looks truly in command when he's on that front foot. William Pittman just guilty of over pitching just a bit, but as is the case, it seems to be anything that's full, he's going to go and go hard. Is Jordan Julian?
He was looking to pull that one short of a length delivery from William Pittman, but was into the shot far too quickly and just managing to hit the ball back along the pitch.
Yeah, when Pittman bowls that back of length delivery, it just seems to be hurrying Jordan Julian a bit. He might also be guilty of looking to hit the ball a bit too hard. Again, driving. Maybe getting the toe end of the bat there, young Jordan Julian, and no run.
So the 29 without loss in over number 5. I think the Trinidad and Tobago team would probably want to get those 93 runs maybe within 20 overs or so to look to improve their net run rate.
Oh my
Driving
word.
again beautifully.
Oh my
Jack
word.
Nathanez chases, but just to retrieve. That was magnificent from Jordan Julian.
I have no words to describe just how beautiful that shot is. I would love to get a replay of it because that deserves to be seen over and over and over again.
Again, just textbook stuff from Jordan Julian, coming forward, weight over the ball, driving it all along the ground, not trying to hit it too hard. Let's just have a look at it.
Again, over pitch by Pittman. Foot to the ball, all your energy going through it, head and shoulders in line with the delivery, beating Jaquan Athanase, the captain, to the left, and he's positioned at mid-off.
And you're talking hit it between the extra cover and mid-off fielder. So that's
Not the easiest of shots.
really well played by Jordan Julian. And 33 without loss at the end of 5. So Kaiden Pollard is going to be in strike. And it's going to be Trey and Daniel who is going to continue. Pollard plays quietly up the offside, no run.
Yeah, this is really good batting so far from Jordan Julian. He's pouncing on anything too full. And he's one of the batsmen that I would have highlighted some days ago as being a really good opening batsman. He's compact in defense and he identifies exactly where he's going to score and how he's going to do it.
Here is Pollard hitting one in the air out to the middle fielder, and it's dropped. The two fielders just look at each other, and the number 14 in Ali had a look at Athanase and didn't go for the ball. The ball fell between Athanase and Ali. Certainly Ali should have gone after that one, and Pollard gets another reprieve. Did he come through for 2 runs? No, he didn't run. Sent back Jordan Julian.
A complete mix-up there by the two fielders, Jaquan Athanase and Adonai Ali.
Somebody needed to call and really take charge on that occasion.
But I think Adonai Ali called because Jaquan Athanase pulled out quite early, and at the last moment Ali just didn't
decided to leave it. Yeah, he just decided to leave it.
Because if you look closely, Jaquan Athanase wasn't really that close to him. He was in no way going towards the catch. Was Jaquan Athanase.
Let's just have a look at it again. Ball up in the air.
See, you can see there he's running from mid-off, and he pulls out before even passing the stumps.
Yes.
And then Adonai Ali just decides that he's not going to attempt the catch at all.
Yeah, and the ball fell just about a foot or 2 away from Ali.
It's so close.
So not very good stuff there. And Pollard living dangerously. He's been given a second opportunity. Second chance the Leeward Islands had to dismiss Kaiden Pollard. They've not done so yet. He's on 9. And he gets a delivery from Trey and Daniel that is up to him. He's trying to drive once more. and can't score. 33 without loss in over number 6. Trinidad and Tobago this morning won the toss, inserted the Leeward Islands, and bowled them out for 92 runs. And the way that the Trinidad and Tobago openers are playing, looked as if the Trinidad and Tobago team wants to polish things off very quickly. So, end of another over from Trey and Daniel. 15 dot balls he's bowled so far. 12 runs from his bowling. Trinidad and Tobago after 6 overs, 33 without loss.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are home for the summer. The West Indies take on Australia in 3 tests and 5 T20 internationals starting on the 25th of June with the first test in Bridgetown, Barbados.
Julian is pulling one. It leaves the bat in the air. It falls safely over the straightish mid-wicket position. Didn't time this one as well as he wanted to. The ball went high up in the air, but was away from the fielder in that mid-on position and able to rush back for 2 runs.
Yes, he's going to maintain being ultra aggressive here. Is Jordan Julian, just back of a length, not overly short by William Pittman, but he has a go at it and he gets 2.
So Jathan Edward is taken out of the slip. Pittman continues, and Julian gets a delivery on the stumps that he's playing defensively to the onside field. No run. So William Pittman, the younger brother of Kelvin Pittman, who is a part of the West Indies Academy team. Here is Pollard cutting and cutting well, and will get 4. Correction, that was Julian, who continues to play well. Short outside the off stump, and he leaned into that one and cut it past that point position and into the boundary for 4.
Yeah, classic stuff from Jordan Julian. Looks to have a lot of time, and he's not looking to overhit the ball.
And Pittman today not having as good a day as we've seen him, and no doubt his brother Kelvin would say, based on this bowling performance, maybe today he's not the better Pittman, because when you ask William who is, he will tell you he is. Here we watch as William Pittman comes in, and Julian is pulling this one over the square leg region for 4. So Captain Athens has just strengthened the offside field, brought a man from backward square into the offside, and then Pittman bowls a short delivery that is pulled away over deep square leg for 4.
Yeah, I think the reply from the bowler was that he had enough and he wanted to test the middle of the pitch, maybe rough up Jordan Julian, but he was equal to the task, dispatching that just behind square leg for 4 more.
And he gets a Yorker length delivery that is dug out, Jordan Julian. And he's quickly on to 32. And the total is on to 43 without loss.
Yeah, this is brilliant batting here so far from Jordan Julian. Really taking command of the Trinidad innings so far.
And when we were looking at some of the better players, we didn't mention Jordan Julian. But certainly from what I've seen today, he's now in the discussion. Gets a delivery that he's driving outside the line of the off stump. Maybe even though he has not scored heavily in the tournament, we'll try and find out some of his scores. But he certainly looks good, looks the part for me. End of over number 7. Trinidad and Tobago needing 93 for victory. They're 43 without loss.
Yeah, just 50 more to get for Trinidad and Tobago. And at this point, or at this stage of the game, I don't think it's expected that the Leeward Islands have a chance at winning. But anything could happen in this game called cricket, as we see Treon Daniel into Kaiden Pollard.
And again with that familiar stance, Pollard just stands tall and pushes one into the offside field, no run. There's just a hanging cloud overhead, but no immediate threat of rain. I just look in the direction of the folks who would have the institutional knowledge here, the groundsmen, and they look pretty relaxed. Pretty relaxed too is Pollard in playing this delivery quietly out to the mid-on fielder, to Adonai Ali, who probably let him off the hook in that last over.
Yes, most definitely there. Every run that is conceded, that goes to Kaiden Pollard. It might be on the mind of Adonai Ali.
Pollard is forcing one into the offside field, can't beat the infield. So in the game against Jamaica, Jordan Julian, he scored 9 runs. Here is he getting a boundary is Pollard, one that was outside the off stump, right up to him by Treon Daniel, and he just came forward and hit it hard into the extra cover region and picked up a boundary.
Yeah, that one hit the middle of the bat there for Kaiden Pollard. Overpitched by Treon Daniel outside the line of the off stump. And he takes full toll, Kaiden Pollard, getting his 3rd boundary of the innings so far. And here is it, we see Treon Daniel just changing his field. He sends back the cover fielder onto the boundary and brings in fine leg. So the plan might be to bowl full and wide because there's no protection out there. And again, just outside the off stump by Treon Daniel, played quietly into the offside by Kaiden Pollard.
Just trying to have a look at Jordan Julian's scores. As Pollard gets another boundary, as maybe Ali could have done a lot better with that one at the mid-on position. It was dragged there by Pollard, not timed well, but again Ali, yeah, with a poor effort, I would think, allowing that one to go past him and into the boundary for 4.
Yes, that would have brought up the 50-run partnership between Kaiden Pollard and Jordan Julian, as well as the team 50, seeing that they are opening the innings. Inside the power play, mind you, after 8 overs. And yes, just collecting the inside half of the bat of Kaiden Pollard. But he just seems to be so powerful, just like his father, that he could drag it from outside the off stump and still get enough bat on it to take it all the way to the boundary.
So Jordan Julian scored 30 against Barbados. 30 or 50 deliveries. He had a 4 and a 6 in that innings. But he's looking good here today for his 32 so far. 51 this opening partnership for Trinidad. Just remember, they're trying to get to 93 runs for victory. And this one, he's hitting it over the top of that mid-on fielder and down to the boundary for 4. It left the bat in the air, thought that the fielder could have probably given a better effort there, but the ball cleared him, and once it cleared him, it raced quickly into the long on boundary for 4.
Yeah, he really has a good bat here, Jordan Julian. He doesn't seem to me like he hit that ball really hard, but he has good enough timing.
Here is he hitting one out to Jacques Nathanez and gives his hand away to Aiden Williams. Was what we would say a long hop delivery, and he was really looking to hammer in, going away from the timing that he has been showing and opting for power, and on that occasion just skied the ball out to Jacques Nathanez, who doesn't drop those catches, and to Trinidad and Tobago losing their first wicket. They're now 55 for 1.
Yeah, just on that occasion, I think his eyes lit up. He picked up the line and length of the ball early and decided that he was going to cash in, just looking to hit that ball a bit too hard and not getting the timing that he possesses, and just skying it over to mid-off where Jaquan Athanez takes a simple catch. And that wicket will bring about the drinks break. So we're going to take a short break and refresh ourselves, and then we'll be back with more live coverage between Trinidad and Tobago and the Leeward Islands.
And so we see the left-handed Elijah Ashton has come out with the number 75 on his back for the Trinidad and Tobago team to join his captain Kaiden Pollard, and no doubt they would want to take this total as close as possible, if not over that 93 that they need. And Aiden Williams would be very happy getting a wicket. Here is Williams outside the line of the off stump to the left-handed batter. He's come straight around the wicket to the left-hander. So he has a man at backward point. He has a square cover, short extra cover mid-off. That's the offside field, and there's a mid-on, a man at mid-wicket. He's firing one down the leg side, called wide.
A very interesting offside field. It seems to me that they have two cover fielders, or one at point and backward point. A packed offside field indeed.
Packed offside field, and they're pretty much saying to Trinidad and Tobago batter, pace this field if you can. But Aiden Williams strays down the leg side, and they're able to get a run as they hit the ball down to Adonai Ali, who the ball seems to be following today.
Yeah, most definitely. It's always a thing with cricket that when you're having a bad day in the field, no matter where they hide you, the ball will follow you.
Strange occurrences. It just seems to happen all the time.
But yeah,
Captain
same
Pollard,
field
who
here.
has had 2 lives so far, 2 opportunities. Sees one outside the off stump, thought of playing, left it into the gloves of Powell, no run. If he was a cat, they would say that
He has 9 lives.
he has 9 lives, and he's
Well, he has 3 so far. 1 drop catch, 1 potential catch.
wide outside the off stump, called wide.
Yeah, I just think that Aiden Williams is trying a bit too hard here to bowl to that field. Packed offside field as well for Kaiden Pollard. But he needs to continue to put the balls in the right areas. Is Williams. As we see here, bowling another wide. Just falling away a bit, it looks like. When he delivers that. When he delivers those balls there.
And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed with Jordan Julian with that shot that he played, because I just think that it was just uncharacteristic of his batting. Here is Pollard cutting hard but straight to the fielder. Posted at point, no run. Pollard has been playing the ball has been leaving his bat very, very well, but he's been finding those fielders. So he's not been able to pace the field as often as he might have wanted to. But at the end of over number 9, 59 for 1, so a decent power play so far by the Trinidad and Tobago team.
Well, I would say a good power play. 59 is the score for 1 after 9, with still 1 more over to go in the power play. Scoring at 6 runs and over is more than enough in the power play.
Certainly.
Especially in the chase of 93 for victory. As the required run rate suggests, less than a run and over. Not even a run a ball, less than a run and over.
So, Trey Daniel is going to start his 5th over. No wickets yet, 20 runs off of his bowling, but he could have had the wicket of Pollard, enticed him into a false stroke, and wicket-keeper Powell putting it down. Here is he with a delivery outside the line of the off stump, and pushing at it is Elijah Ashton, not making contact, no run. So Trey and Daniel just continues to nag away just about that off stump line. Not the quickest of bowlers, but he's able to just keep that nagging line. Fuller delivery this time and driven, but straight to the short fielder. Short infielder that looks to be Caris Farrell. You said they call him Bolo?
Yes, Bolo is his nickname.
So the folks who are listening to us over there in St. Kitts and Nevis would know who Bolo is.
Yes, Bolo Dan, as the young people call him. Bolo, but most commonly referred to as Bolo Dan.
Here is this delivery, he's bowled him. So playing around his legs and missing is the left-handed Elijah Ashton, and the ball crashed into his stumps, and he has to go. Trinidad and Tobago losing their 2nd wicket.
Yeah, beautiful delivery by Treon Daniel, just getting a hint of movement back into the batsman, and the batsman looking to play that ball much too square for delivery just on about middle and off stump.
Middle and off stump, and he was just trying to flick that one away and missed it completely. The ball cannoned into his stumps. Trinidad and Tobago losing their 2nd wickets. It's now 59 for 2. And I would say that the batter who was just gone didn't look too settled. at the crease.
Yeah, the Elijah Ashton.
Yeah, no point. He looked like a settled number 3 batsman.
Yeah, he didn't really look comfortable at the crease. And here we see number 66, the vice captain, Zion Phillip, coming in to face Trayon Daniels. But Trayon Daniel rewarded for his persistence. He's been bowling well in this spell, 4.3 overs, 20 runs for 1 wicket. Should have had the wicket of Kaiden Pollard, but Elijah would have been more than suffice.
Here is he driving out to mid-on and out caught first delivery. Straight to the captain, Jacquinathanes. A full toss from Trayon Daniel. And the new batter,
Zion
Phillip, hitting one straight to Jacquinathanes at the mid-on field. And he doesn't drop those. And so Trinidad and Tobago losing their 3rd wicket. They're now 59 for 3, and Trayon Daniel is on a hat-trick.
Yes, this is just desserts here for Trayon Daniel, being rewarded for some persistent bowling up front. And now he has 2 wickets back-to-back, and this is why I say cricket is truly a funny game, because you blink twice and then 2 wickets fall, and next thing you know, you're reeling at 60 for 7, trying to chase a target of 93. So you never know what could happen. The Leeward Islands need to stay with it, stay in this game. All is not lost just as yet, as we see number 60, Samuel Stewart, coming in to face the hat-trick delivery. As you see here, the first wicket of the for Trayon Daniel, full and straight bowling Elijah Ashton. So here we set for the hat-trick delivery.
So let's see what Daniel is going to do. He wants a slip in place, and rightly so. When you're on a hat-trick, you want to get every opportunity to get that. Samuel Stewart faces the hat-trick delivery. Trayon Daniel bowls it, and he just leans forward and plays it quietly into the offside field. No run. So maybe just a little bit nervous now by the Trinidad and Tobago team, losing a couple of wickets quickly. And with Captain Pollard a little bit erratic, especially in his batting, tends to give you a chance every now and then. Could be more interesting than Trinidad and Tobago wants it to be. Samuel Stewart is driving, just standing there and driving up to Ali at mid-on, and there's no run. Ends another over. At the end of it, Trinidad and Tobago 59 for 3, trying to get to a total of 93 after the Leeward Islands made 92 all out this morning in 25.4 overs. So we're back at the ARG. Good afternoon to you wherever you're watching or listening. I know my good friend Basil Morgan is locked in over there in Montserrat. Hope Montserrat is having a wonderful week. Basil, I haven't been to Montserrat in a little while. And I hear they have a waterfall. Pollard is driving, or what we will call it there, you have a little tributary that they say that if you drink from it, it's like drinking from the fountain of youth.
Yes, I had the privilege of tasting water from there. Apparently it's the cleanest water you're probably going to drink in your life.
Yeah.
The purest water, because it's coming off of the hill, being filtered naturally.
And based on the way that my knees feel these days, I probably need a drink.
I mean, you just soak in it as well, but
Yeah, I might need to sap these knees in the water day in Montserrat, but Montserrat is a good place, and I went to Montserrat after the volcano, and we were able to watch some cricket there.
yes, I would have had some stories from Basil Morgan about Sturridge Park, and they said it truly was a nice wicket to bat on. He told me a story about Richie Richardson hitting a ball because apparently it was very close to the water, and he hooked a ball off of a Montserrat pace bowler into the water. So, very unfortunate that Sturridge Park is no longer.
I think they play now at what? Salem? I think
Yes,
they play
Salem
over in
Park
Salem Park.
and Little Bay.
And I remember when we were up at Salem, you can see the volcano from where we are, and there was a little puff of ash from the volcano, and I was scrambling out of the.
You panic.
I was looking to get as far away as possible as this one is pulled away by Samuel Stewart. Just a little short pitch delivery from Aiden Williams, and just standing up and helping it on its way was Samuel Stewart for another boundary for Trinidad and Tobago. 64 for 3 over number 11. I remember I was dashing to try and get away, and I looked around and I was the only one running. All the other folks at Montserrat were there just continuing their normal business.
Yes, you were but a visitor.
Yeah, I went over there. I
Locals were
remember.
very much accustomed.
Remember, I went over there with Kenny Benjamin, the former West Indies fast bowler, and we didn't sleep the night before because we were with the person that we were staying with. The house was just trembling all night from consistent tremors. And when we look over at our host, himself and his wife, they were fast asleep. And I remember that when we got to the ground the day, myself and Kenny Benjamin, we decided we were going to take a 5. Deliveries played away, and when we woke up from the 5, we found out that Stuart Williams already made 100 and was out.
The Leeward Islands and West Indies batsman
Stuart Williams, yes. He was playing down there at the time. We went to watch Lionel Baker at the time. Kenny Benjamin was going to do some work with him, and he walked with me as his cameraman to film Lionel Baker.
So you all took a 5, just a shot eye.
Just a shot
as
eye.
you await.
And by the time because when we took the shot eye, we left Stuart Williams sitting there right next to where we were. And when we opened our eyes, he was still sitting there. But only that we found out that he had already gone into bat, made 100, and come back to the same spot, and we didn't see a ball of it. But we did see that final delivery though, 65 for 3, Trinidad and Tobago after 11 overs. Jordan Julian looked good for 36. Thought he gave his hand away. Captain Kaiden Pollard is still there, not out on 18. Samuel Stewart, who played that good pull shot in the last over, is on 4. 65 the total for Trinidad and Tobago, so they need 28 runs, it says here.
Yes, correct. 28
of
runs.
234 deliveries. So balls are not the problem today. They just need to get these 28 runs. Trey and Daniel will start his 6th over, and Samuel Stewart, or that's Pollard, gets run number 19 of 29 deliveries.
Yeah, but Montserrat truly is a nice island. I had the opportunity to go to the exclusion zone, and it's very interesting that the closer you get to the volcano is just how exciting it is, that the heat that radiates off of it just increases the closer you go. But as well as you, I did not sleep the first night at all.
It's called you being young and brave.
I did not sleep the first night because my entire thought process was, what if I go to sleep and something happens?
Even at this late stage, I'm not going in that exclusion zone.
No, it's an experience.
They
Because
say it's safe,
It is. It is.
I'll take the word for it, but I'll observe it from distance. And here we see Samuel Stewart just pushing one out into the offside. Stewart is almost similar to Pollard, sort of just casual in the approach, just very economical in the way that he goes about things.
Yes, minimal fuss.
He's driving hard from Daniel, but straight to Jacques Nathanez at mid-off. No run. Have you started to think about maybe the under 15 squad that may be picked from this tournament?
Well, I already have
Who are some of the sure
names.
picks? Who are some of the sure picks that you think? I think Kelani Daniel would be Kelani Clark. Correction for Barbados would be a sure pick.
Yes, most definitely, but I wouldn't want to pick a squad knowing that, and that's a beautiful piece of feeling by number 27. I think it's Demore Prentice.
Yes.
Saving a sure four there, but definitely I would have some names earmarked for that West Indies on the 15 team, but I'd rather not say, seeing that we didn't get to see
but
Guyana.
you know my one pick
For sure.
Is
none other than the fast bowler from
Econie
Jamaica.
Robinson. You know for sure that I'm picking.
For sure.
You know that's the first name I'm writing down. I'm writing down Econie Robinson.
Yes,
He's my opening bowler. But the end of another over has come a quiet over for Trinidad and Tobago. At the end of it, 12 overs gone, 66 for 3.
So after 12 overs, the Trinidad and Tobago on the 15s, 66 for 3, 27 away from their target of 93. As we see Williams continuing.
Delivery that is close to the off stump of Kaiden Pollard. Was looking to force it away, no run.
Yeah, I'd like to see a bit more intent from the young Pollard. Seems very content with just without looking for any singles. I think he's just waiting on the boundary ball. As we see, dead ball called by umpire Johan Williams. But there doesn't seem to be any quick singles in mind for these two batsmen, Kaiden Pollard and Samuel Stewart. I think they're just going to be waiting on the bad ball, and they're going to have a go at it, and hopefully they can get some runs like that.
Sideline of the off stump missing out. There I thought was Pollard.
Yes, but one person that I think stands out for me particularly was a young man by the name of Shamar Apple from last year's tournament. I mean, he really impressed me, and if anybody in the chat who is from Guyana who could give me an update about the young Shamar Apple is greatly appreciated, because he's a left-handed batsman, and for his age he was extremely well built, hitting the ball very hard. He had a couple of 40s and a couple of 30s, striking at above 150, but since that tournament he wasn't here for this edition of the tournament, possibly because he's too old.
Possibly looking to transition to the next level. Pollard was hoping to get a boundary there, but again, he just has a way of finding the feelers. Kaiden Pollard, we've seen some really good-looking strokes from him, but he's hit them straight to fielders. So he's not been able to score. Where was he bowled? So he was looking to drive and missed that one from Aiden Williams. The ball crashes into his stumps. That's the end of Pollard, and the Leeward Islands gets another wicket, and it's now Captain Kaiden Pollard who goes, and the total is now 68 for 5.
Yeah, well bowled by Aiden Williams, just sneaking one through the gate of Kaiden Pollard, hitting the top of leg stump. And TNT might just be a bit concerned, having lost 4 wickets so far. A bit concerned they are, but still comfortably in the driver's seat, requiring only 25 to win.
So 68 for 4, is it? Or 68 for 5? So 93 they need for victory, 68 for 4.
Yeah, as we see here again from Aiden Williams. Just pitching on off stump and getting a little bit of tail back in. And doing Kaiden Pollard all ends up. Here we see number 1, Ethan Ramcharan, in to replace his captain. 25 required, 6 wickets in hand.
Here is Samuel Stewart looking to force it away through the offside. And as a matter of fact, that's Ramcharam with his first delivery, looking to force it away.
Yeah, standing tall was Ramcharan and looking to fillet that.
Again, just hitting it straight to a fielder, no run. So Ethan Ramcharan and Samuel Stewart. Hopefully they would want to take Trinidad and Tobago close to these final 25 runs without too much of a fuss, because sometimes you can really make heavy weather of a small score, and they just need 93 for victory. And maybe they've lost more wickets than they would have wanted to.
Yeah, most definitely. I wonder if there's a bit of concern in the Trinidad camp, running out of batters. Still 6 wickets, so comfortably in front. But as I'll continue to reiterate, cricket is a funny game. You never know what could happen.
So we watch as here is Captain Jaquan Athanaze. It's going to come into the bowling for the Leeward Islands. Starts and stops. Let me have a look at the stream, see if our listeners and watchers, if they're getting nervous over this Trinidad and Tobago run chase. Doesn't seem so, at least at this stage. Don't see anyone hitting the panic button yet.
I can imagine if 2 wickets were to fall, that.
Here is he edging and dropped that slip.
And as I say that, he edges a ball and it's dropped. And
So-
it looks like Jathan Edward, number 9, in at slips.
Jathan Edward in at number. He at slips there and putting down Samuel Stewart.
Yeah, regulation there.
Yeah, and it carried to him, hit him high up on the wrist
Yes,
went
regulation
down
catch there. That would
to the
be.
ground.
That's the height you would want to get them at slip, I would imagine. Just about knee high.
And to rub salt into the wounds, the next delivery from Martinez is struck away over the square leg region for 4.
Yeah, that's normally the case in cricket. You get a drop catch and then to rub salt in the wound, the very next ball goes for 4. And I can imagine that Jathan Edwards would be a bit upset, as we see hands on hips, hands on heads, hands behind backs. Dejected the Leeward Islands under 15. But it's important that Jaquan Athanaze rallies the troops and continues to fight to the very end.
Athanaze, what looks to be just a little bit of a quicker delivery, played away by Samuel Stewart.
Yeah, not giving much away is Jaquan Athanaze. He's bowling quite flat. Not a lot of flight.
Covering up is Samuel Stewart. He's on 8 of 16. And he's driving through the extra cover region. There was a diving fielder, but he didn't stop it. And once that goes past that fielder, it's going to be a boundary, because the outfield, like we've said, is lightning fast here at the ARG. And it's into the boundary for 4 runs to Peters, 4 more to the Trinidad and Tobago team. It's now 76 for 4.
Yeah, just guilty of overpitching there. That's the first flighted delivery that we would have seen in the over from Jaquan Athanaze. But just too full and a bit too wide. And Samuel Stewart had no problem in dispatching that for another 4, the second 4 in the over. So now Trinidad and Tobago move on to 76 for 4, requiring just 17 to win.
So just 17 runs to get. Aiden Williams is going to continue. Full toss. That is guided away into the offside field. Let's see what the umpire says. Yeah, called it no ball. So opportunity for a free hit for Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, very interesting of Ethan Ramcharan to defend that full toss, I would imagine, with no mid-wicket, no deep mid-wicket or deep square leg in place. He had essentially 2 free hits, because now he's facing the second one.
And he's hitting this one hard, but straight to the fielder at the mid-on position. Captain Athanaze can't score. So literally missing out on 2 scoring deliveries, because that one was pulled down by Aiden Williams and could have hit it anywhere. He hit it straight to that man at mid-on. And so 2 poor deliveries, no run.
Yeah, as we see there, the first free hit, I am going to call it a free hit. It was just above the waist, maybe about stomach height. And again, no mid-wicket. Mid-on is inside the circle. No deep square leg or deep mid-wicket, and he guides it to point. So missing out on the first one, and then missing out on the second one as he hits it straight to mid-on.
Aiden Williams has had a mixed bag in his spell. He's had some poor deliveries, but he's been able to get 2 important wickets.
Yes, most definitely a mixed bag indeed. He's bowled a peach to get Kaiden Pollard out, but yet not staying overly consistent, as we see Ramcharan driving to mid-off, and there's a misfield by the fielder at mid-off. It looks like number 13, William Pittman. And they scamper through for a single. The score moves on to 79 for 4. Just 14 runs needed.
Just had a look at the stream and see some of the folks referring to Samuel Stewart as Sammy.
Sammy.
They're saying, go Sammy. Outside the line of the off stump, Samuel Stewart just watches it into the gloves of Powell. And there is no run. So Aiden Williams continue. Samuel Stewart is hitting this one straight to that mid-wicket fielder, but he doesn't take the catch. And the ball goes past him. It's going to slow up, or it has slowed up just before the boundary. And they're able to come back for 2 runs. But again, straight to that fielder, standing there at that straightish mid-wicket position. Who is that fielder?
Number 8, it looks like Kian Macau. And
yeah, Macau just put up his hand. Didn't really believe that he was going to catch that one. The ball burst through his fingers. And Captain Athens having to give chase. 2 runs, 81 for 4. So they're getting ever so closely to that.
so just the umpires having a check with the scorers to see whether or not that was the end of the over. 5 balls bowled, but those kind of efforts, I'd want to see a better effort from the fielders, especially seeing that you're trying to salvage something from the game, and to have a ball go straight to the mid-wicket fielder. He didn't have to move. He just had to pocket the catch, and then
he just put up his hand and just allowed the ball to burst through his hand.
And what made it worse is that he didn't chase the ball. He stood there.
He just stood there.
So
bit of a lack of effort.
Yeah, it's all a learning experience
on that occasion. And so the umpires have just decided they're going to have a little talk just to sync back their counters, just to make sure that they're both on the same page.
Yes, most definitely. But I'd like to see a better effort. You'd want to play.
You're gonna play all the way. You have to play all the way to the end. You have to play hard all the way
through
to the end. So
yes, most definitely.
You don't want to just give up free opportunities like that.
Most definitely, because that would have been 2 catches in the last 2 overs.
Yes. 1
dropped off of Athens at slip, and now 1 dropped off of Williams at mid-wicket.
And you never know, anything can happen in these games, because we saw how the Leeward Islands innings just disintegrated towards the end. As Trinidad and Tobago gets another run, 82 for 4 now.
Most definitely, and if you were to take into account those 2 catches as 2 separate wickets, the Trinidad and Tobago would be at 82 for 6, and they might be panicking a little bit because you're getting into the bowlers.
Yep, look a lot different. The scorecard.
So as they say, catches win matches.
Another opportunity for runs here for Trinidad and Tobago. This one is stayed down to 3rd man for 4.
Yes, some would call it an educated edge from Samuel Stewart. A bit back of the length by Jaquan Athens, and he gets on the back foot to play it. I believe it was to be played in front of square, but he gets a thick outside edge, and Andre Peters has no chance as the ball trickles into the boundary.
Yeah, once that got past Andre Peters there, he was some ways away from him, so he was just always going to go to retrieve.
Yes, most definitely.
Still trying, just lost his rhythm.
Yes, a tough customer is he, Jaquan Athens. He doesn't give up easily from playing against him.
Would have been disappointed as a captain, having come into this tournament and not been able to secure a victory. Had just one moment in the tournament where he got that 97.
Yeah, really, Athens questioning a wide here. And what's your take? Is it a wide or not?
I think with the umpires having the guideline, here is he driving and dropped. Samuel Stewart was looking to drive that one hard. It came back to Athens, and he just couldn't hold on.
Yeah, this is just the result of the dropped catches here by Athens, because normally this is a sure wicket, and just the lack of reaction tells you the situation that the Leeward Islands are in.
87 for 4. So the Trinidad and Tobago team approaching victory.
Yeah, 6 runs away.
They need to get to 93 for victory. Bowling out the Leeward Islands this morning for 92 runs.
As we see a replay here of that catch. Had enough time. He got his hands in the right position, but just maybe not hitting the hand exactly where he would have wanted it, and it just bobbles out. But at the end of the 16th over, the Trinidad and Tobago on the 15s, 87 for 4, requiring just 6 to win.
Like I said earlier, I think the Trinidad and Tobago team would want to get to this victory total well before the 20th over, just to up their net run rate and to hope that things go their way in the other match between Guyana and Barbados that's been played up at CCG.
But I think, interestingly enough, I would have been aware of 2 situations where net run rate would play a part in whether or not a team would be victorious or qualify. Most notably the West Indies women, who needed to qualify on a net run rate basis. I heard some conversation suggesting that you should bat first when you're looking at net run rate, and back your batsmen to put a big total on the board, and then back your bowlers to bowl them out in a short time, as opposed to bowling first, outing them for little to no runs, and then looking to hit collect the runs.
Ramcharam gets a boundary, just driving one over the top of the fielder at mid-on and into the boundary for 4.
Yes, good hit by Ethan Ramcharan. Now
Right.
just one hit away, the Trinidad and Tobago on the 15s.
Yeah, just hitting that one right over the top of Jacqueline Athanes, who's posted out there.
Yes, most definitely. So
Just
2 runs to win now for the Trinidad and Tobago team.
just having a look, and somebody saying TNT batting and fielding throughout this tournament needs much to be desired. TTCB will need to have ongoing coaching and developmental programs. If they're looking at quick single, and they're going to get it in the end, but that could have been a lot different had the bowler picked that one up. Ramcharam was committed on that occasion, and Samuel Stewart was there, and it scores a level 92 for 4. It says ongoing development programs to help these young players advance in their game. Do you agree?
I agree with this sentiment, but to say that the Trinidad and Tobago has left a lot to be desired. I mean, compared to the other teams, in the best case scenario they win this tournament, and in the worst case scenario they come second. So I wouldn't be too critical of the young lads, but I do agree with the sentiment that there is developmental programs that are needed in place to ensure the continued development of these young rising stars.
So here is the end of the match, as we see a delivery just slipping away from Eden Williams and coming down to the final leg region, and they're able to come through for a bye, was it?
Yes,
yeah,
a bye.
and just a bye to end the proceedings. Anticlimactic, but Trinidad and Tobago go away winners by 6 wickets, getting to 93 for 4 after bowling out the Leeward Islands this morning for 92.
Yes, a bit of a disappointing end for me on my part. I would have liked to have seen the Leeward Islands finish the game a bit more dignified than the keeper just allowing a bye to go by. But nonetheless, dominating win for the Trinidad and Tobago team, and winning by 6 wickets inside 20 overs. I think that was the goal that you were mentioning. So it's all left to the Barbados and the Guyana game, and we will see who will be victorious at the end of today.
So Barbados, they made 209 for 8 in their 50 overs, which means Guyana will need 210 for victory in that match. And of course, the game between the Windward Islands and Jamaica is completed. So Jamaica getting to 87 without loss in reply to the 86 all-out made by the Windward Islands team. So 93 for the Trinidad and Tobago team. And I'll just try and see if I can get you the scorecard of the Trinidad and Tobago team, especially for those folks who keep the statistics. Let's just give you the scorecard. Jordan Julian, he was caught at an S of Williams for 36. Kaiden Pollard was bowled Williams for 21. Elijah Ashton was bowled Daniel for 1. Zion Phillip was caught at an S of Daniel first delivery without scoring. Samuel Stewart was left not out on 18. Ethan Ramcharam not out on 7 for the Leeward Islands. 10 extras. One by we saw just to end the game. A leg by, 7 wides and 1 no ball. William Pittman 4 overs, no maidens, 31s, no wickets. Trey and Daniel 6 overs, 2 maidens, 21 runs, 2 wickets. Aiden Williams 4.3 overs, no maiden, 26 runs, 2 wickets. And Jack Wanathanes 2 overs for 14 runs. Trinidad and Tobago 93 for 4, winning by some 6 wickets. Just your wrap-up thoughts. You can wrap it up in the sense of your thoughts on this game and your overall thoughts on the tournament from what you have seen so far.
Well, for the game, you would have gone through enough of it already. I mean, the Leeward Islands just didn't show up today in batting and bowling. A few valiant efforts by the likes of Cleavante Powell, Demore Prentice and Jathan Edward, but nothing really of substance, only to post 92. And then Trinidad and Tobago with Julian and Pollard up at the top, scoring 36 and 21 respectively, so they got home comfortably. As for the tournament, I would imagine that this would have been a successful tournament for the selectors and the scouts. A lot of talent out there, a lot of raw talent, a lot of good materials to work with the likes of Ikoni Robinson and Tesfa Ward from Jamaica, a few good players out of Barbados, Jaquan Athenaeus from the Leeward Islands, and I would say that it's been a very successful tournament in that regard. A lot of prospects, and hopefully we can see improvement.
You have to include Jordan Julian as well.
Most definitely.
In terms of the talent that we've seen. Maybe underperformed in this tournament based on his ability, but he has to also, I think, be one to look forward to in the future, because clearly he has ability.
Yes, most definitely. He seems to be a good opening batsman. Looks to have all the right ingredients, being able to play straight and have a solid defense, not letting the hands get too far away from the body. And when he's driving and pulling, he transfers his weight front and back quite nicely. So all the good ingredients there of a good opening batsman. And
so we're just trying to just wrap things up here as we are going to bring this broadcast to an end. The Trinidad and Tobago would have done their part in terms of giving them an opportunity. It's now over to that game between Guyana and Barbados, and like I said, Barbados team batting their 50 overs, getting to 209 for 8 in that encounter there. So the Guyanese will need 209 and 10 for victory. And so, any closing comments, Asha, as we look to wrap it up?
No, that's all from me. It's from my end. It's truly been a privilege to have been able to commentate this tournament, and I'm sure with all that I would have learned that I should have some gigs in the future. Foreshadowing, winking an eye.
Hopefully we'll see you again in the box. And let me just say thank you very much to the technical team and all the folks who have worked with us throughout this tournament to make the broadcast possible. Hope that we were able to bring it to you in a manner that was pleasing to the ear and eyes. Denmo Robert saying on behalf of Asha Murray Cornelius and all the folks here at Antigua Recreation Grounds, we leave you with the news that Trinidad and Tobago defeated the Leeward Islands by some 6 wickets. Leeward Islands 92 all out, Trinidad and Tobago 93 for 4. Until next time, Denmo Robertson, have a great day and continue to enjoy your what's left of your Wednesday.